Okay. Can you hear? I mean, I guess you can hear. Alright. Right, so okay, so good morning, everyone. Let me see. Okay, I guess here you okay, let's start that. So we are in lesson 4. You ready? Are you ready? Yeah, okay. So we're looking today, we're looking at the 26 qualities of a good man.
今日我哋講係奉獻者26個品質。
And I might not go too much into it, but I'll touch on it.
咁我會講到某幾點，但我唔會完全係好詳細咁去講嘅。
The funny thing is this, because he's having his microphone on and my microphone is so I can get feedback. Yeah.
因為兩個microphone有回音。
That's okay.
But your mic has a lot of echo.
Yeah, because you want both of us to speak, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So then that's what's going to happen. Unless you should have made a dedicated microphone connected to the Zoom, then we could have shared. But now it's too late. It's okay. It's okay. We can talk. So do you want him to have his microphone on also?
It's okay. It's audible. Just
Okay.
your mic is at a little bit of echo, but it's okay. It's good actually.
Okay, it's acceptable. All right. Okay, so 26 qualities of a Vaishnava, and this is from Madhya Leela. Yeah.
咁呢個係提及到奉獻者20項品質啦，係喺 Mother Leela 係中篇養草人嘅中篇嗰度提到。
Kripalu akrita droha satyasara sama nidosha vadanya mritu suchi akinchana sarvopakaratha shanta krishnaika sharana akama anihasira vijita sadguna mitabuk apramatta manada amani gambira karuna maitra kavi daksha mauni. And all these are in your book.
咁所有呢啲咧喺書籍入邊都有提到。
So that 26 qualities are mentioned. So I'll read the translation. Devotees are always merciful, humble, truthful, equal to all, faultless, magnanimous, mild and clean. They are without material possessions and they perform welfare work for everyone. They are peaceful, surrendered to Krishna and desireless. They are indifferent to material acquisitions and are fixed in devotional service. They completely control the 6 bad qualities: lust, anger, greed, illusion, enviousness, and madness. They eat only as much as required and they are not inebriated. They are respectful, grave, compassionate, and without false prestige. They are friendly, poetic, expert, and silent.
按者嚟講，事事都係咁仁慈啦，謙卑、忠誠、平等對一切，冇錯誤，寬容、 平和、清潔，佢冇物質嘅擁有，做一切嘅福利嘅事業都係為一切眾生而做，佢嘅平和係歸於俾 Krishna，係冇慾望，佢係對物質嘅要求一切嚟講係唔會理會，係專注喺奉獻服務。佢係控制6種嘅壞嘅品質，貪嗔痴、慢妒忌等等。佢係食嘢嚟講，即係有需要食喺咁多就要咁多，同埋佢係唔會理太多嘢。佢係尊敬啦、穩重啦、嚴謹啦，係冇虛榮心。佢係友善啦、充滿詩意啦，係一位專家啦，同埋係平靜。
Okay, so as I mentioned, if you look at the verse itself, the the second word, akrita droha, is Prabhupada translates it to merciful,
Yeah,
no,
just
humble. Yeah.
咁樣睇呢個詩詞嚟講，第二帕波咧將個詞咧係譯做叫做係
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I think some of you who should not have your microphone on, can you turn it off?
有冇人有打開嗰個咪喺度㗎？因為驚有回音，可唔可以將佢刪咗？
Let me see. All right. All right, thank you. Otherwise I can hear your talk. Okay. So akrita droha means one who is not defiant.
咁阿基督嗰個佢一個人嚟講就係冇詳細去描述。
But Prabhupada translates that to being humble.
咁泡泡咧係嘅意思佢唔好太依附，泡泡亦做咧叫做係謙卑。
Okay, and then the other one is I want to just touch on is the word Vijita Sadguna.
咁另一個字嚟講就係 Vijita Sadguna 呢個字，我哋想討論。
So the word Vijita Sadguna means the devotee is able to conquer the 6 material qualities.
咁係提到咧，奉獻者可以係控制6種壞嘅品質。
That lust, anger, greed, illusion. Instead of madness, he also conquers hunger and thirst.
咁貪呢6種壞品即係貪啦、貪婪啦、嗔啦、痴啦，跟住就係瘋狂咧，包括嚟講就係可以克服得肚餓同埋睡眠。
So devotees are not mad; they are more Krishna conscious, so they conquer hunger and thirst and enviousness.
咁奉獻者嚟講咧，唔係話瘋狂喺度嘅，其實你可以控制到嚟講就係肚餓啦、口渴啦，同埋呢個疾病。
When they conquer hunger and thirst, it's like even when they're thirsty, they shouldn't be
They don't overeat and
overdrink.
overdrink and things like that.
咁當我哋講話佢係控制意思嚟講，就係話佢唔會過量去飲啊、食啊嗰方面。
Okay. All right. So if you go, let's go to the next slide. This is a problem with this. Whenever I come out, then the connection disconnects it, so the share goes away. So just hang on a sec. Let me share again. So this is a verse in Canto 3, chapter 25. Kapila Dev describes the qualities of a Vaishnava.
咁呢個係聖樂家庭第3篇第25章咧，係 Kapila Dev 就講到奉獻者嘅品質嘅。
This is a very famous verse.
呢個好有名嘅詩詞。
And it's good for all of you to know this verse.
希望大家都要認識呢個詩詞。
Titikshava karunika surida sarvadehinam ajata satrava shantaha sadhava sadhubhushanaha. And it translates, devotees are always tolerant, forbearing, and very merciful. They are the well-wishers of every living entity. They follow the scriptural injunctions, and because they have no enemies, they are very peaceful. These are the decorations of devotees.
往者嚟講，行上係容忍啦、忍耐啦、接受一切啦，同埋係十分之仁慈。佢係所有生物嘅祝福者啦，佢係跟隨經典嘅訓示，佢係冇敵人，佢係十分之平日。佢呢個就係奉獻者所有嘅一個裝飾嘅身上嘅裝飾嚟嘅。
So if you want to develop a community of Vaikuntha community, everyone is very highly conscious. These are some of the qualities, or these are all the qualities we should try to cultivate.
咁我哋好似好多時都會留意上為觀察一個團體入邊所有啲人嘅品質係點樣喺度。咁其實呢啲就係提到所有呢啲咁嘅品質喺度。咁呢啲品質嚟講咧，其實我哋都要係留意，希望得到。
Okay, so try to understand these are qualities that you can actually cultivate.
咁你留意下，其實呢啲品質嚟講咧，我都可以係培養出嚟。
And but actually, there's one quality, if you cultivate, all the other qualities will come naturally.
咁如果有一項品質嚟講，你能夠係培養到嚟講，其他嘅品質咧隨之嚟都會嚟嘅。
Okay, so two types of characteristics when we talk about the qualities. One is the primary characteristic, and the other one is marginal.
咁當我哋講到係品質嚟講咧，就有兩個品質兩個特性係喺度，一個係基本咧，一個嚟講係邊緣。
Now, the primary quality we say is called mukhya.
咁最主要基本嚟講，我哋叫摩羯。
And then the secondary qualities or marginal qualities, we call them lakshana.
咁第二個嚟講呢個邊緣嘅咧，我哋
No, actually, tatastha.
tatasta。咁個邊緣 tatasta。
Tatastha lakshana and mukhya lakshana.
咁就係講咗呢個 tatasta 嘅邊
Yeah.
緣。
Lakshana means the qualities. So sorry for that. Yeah. So the principal qualities or characteristics is the exclusive surrender to Krishna, and all the other characteristics are dependent on these primary characteristics.
咁呢個特性咧，最基本最主要嚟講就係專心一致，淨係歸依俾 Krishna。當你咁樣做嚟講，所有其他嘅品質咧，就要響呢個最基本呢個特性嗰度嚟講，而係建立上嚟。
So what does this mean? It means that if you surrender to Krishna, as I mentioned earlier, the other qualities that we went through the list will come automatically.
咁嘅意思嚟講就係呢樣品質，呢項品質當我哋係歸依俾 Krishna 咧，咁頭先我講過啦，當我哋係歸依俾 Krishna，所有其他嘅品質咧就係隨之而嚟。
So if you surrender to Krishna, automatically you are humble.
當我哋係歸依俾 Krishna 咧，好自然我哋會謙卑。
Right? If you surrender to Krishna, automatically you are merciful.
當我哋歸依俾 Krishna 神道 Krishna 咧，咁我哋自然會係有憐憫心。
When you surrender to Krishna, you are truthful.
當我哋係神道 Krishna 嚟講咧，我哋會係變得真誠。
Because you're a devotee of Krishna, you're equal to everyone.
當我哋係成為 Krishna 奉者嚟講咧，我哋所有眾生係平等。
So generally, we can cultivate these qualities individually also, but individually that means you have to work on 25 qualities.
咁我哋譬如當我哋如果想每一樣品質想獨立咁建立上嚟咧，變咗我哋逐樣嚟講，即係有除咗呢樣有25種品質我哋要建立。
So this is the shortcut.
呢個係個捷徑。
So if you surrender to Krishna, immediately all those qualities will manifest.
當我哋係歸於神作俾 Krishna 時，其他嘅品質就馬上慢慢會展示出嚟。
So generally, for most of us, we are very fortunate because we get the association of the devotee, and through them we say chant, when we chant, and then we learn how to surrender to Krishna. And then when we surrender to Krishna, we get all the nice.
咁我哋好好彩嚟講，我哋係譬如我得到奉一個40年兒喺度啦，你唱頌我哋跟住去唱頌啦，咁跟住我哋有個唱頌嚟講，我哋學識點樣去神服 Krishna。當我哋神服 Krishna，所有好嘅品質就跟住而嚟。
So it's very nice to actually surrender to Krishna.
所以其實係好好嘅，就係神服去 Krishna。
But it's the hardest one to do.
但係呢個係最難嘅一樣，
Because you are dealing with your ego versus Krishna.
因為我哋個假我嚟講咧係敵對嘅，同 Krishna 相反嘅。
When we surrender means we are telling Krishna, I'm not the enjoyer, I'm not the controller.
咁當我哋神俾 Krishna 意思咗，我哋就同 Krishna 講，我唔係一個享受者，我唔係個控制者。
And so once you give up that quality of controlling and yeah, basically thinking you are superior to Krishna, once you give up those attitude, Krishna becomes pleased with us.
咁首先我哋要放棄我呢個觀念啦，話我哋係一個控制者。咁當我哋係放棄呢個嘅觀念嚟講咧 ，Krishna 就會好開心。
Of course, you can also, give up your false ego and pride and everything and not surrender to Krishna.
當然亦都有人嚟講啦，佢又培養佢嘅假我啦，咁佢自己嘅驕傲啦，佢唔會係歸於神服 Krishna。
But in that case, you won't get all these qualities. So
如果你咁樣嚟講咧，你就唔能夠培養到啲所有嘅品質，
you may develop some of these qualities.
或者你可以會有一啲其中一兩項嘅品
Or
質，
you may develop 25 of these qualities.
或者你可以係培養到25項嘅品質。
But the main quality of connecting with Krishna won't be there.
但係最主要一項嚟講，同 Krishna 聯繫上嚟嘅呢個品質嚟講咧，你係培養唔到，
Okay, is that clear?
清楚啦。
Okay. All right, so now let's go into the book, page 7.
咁我哋係打開書嘅第7頁啦。
All right, if we can just briefly go through each one of them.
或者我哋簡單嚟講，睇每一項嘅品質。
And the first one is a devotee is merciful. In Sanskrit, that is kripalu.
咁第一項嚟講，嘅奉者嚟講係仁慈嘅，咁梵文嚟講咧缺拋。
So Srila Prabhupada in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 25th verse, chapter, verse 51, there he explains Vaishnava is merciful because he is the well-wisher of all living entities.
咁聖波巴咧，聖典國家雅堂第3篇第25章51嘅先節要旨咧，講到奉獻者你嘅慈悲為華喺度，因為佢係所有眾生嘅祝福者。
Yeah. So not just only human beings, other species also.
唔單止係人類啦，其他所有生物都亦要得到祝福。
Okay. Including plants and trees and so on. Sometimes we only think moving things, no?
咁包括嚟講係植物啦、樹木啦，佢哋係唔喐動嗰啲。通常我哋諗咧，就會諗啲係喐得嗰啲嘢。
All right, so I'm going to go to the next one. Unless you have a question, we move on. A devotee is humble, amanitvam.
咁奉獻者嚟講係謙卑啦，阿媽啲。
So humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others.
謙卑意味著咧就唔渴望係得到其他人一個尊崇。
Right? So all of us want to be honored by others, right?
咁我哋每日覺得啦，希望俾人哋嘅尊重啦。
So when we feel you want people to honor you, then you can understand you have some training to more to do.
咁如果當我哋內心嚟講，想有啲人嚟講係尊敬我哋、尊崇我哋嚟講咧，你先話你知，我仲有一啲嘢我哋要繼續訓練落去。
You will get over this quality of wanting to be accepted and so on as you practice more Krishna conscious act nicely. Yeah.
咁如果我哋嚟講希望克服呢啲咁嘅嘢咧，咁我哋要好好咁收集啲知覺。
This is very strong in a narcissistic person.
咁呢個一個程序嚟講，一個係要好小心，係慢慢咁分析我哋所做嘅。
Because they demand respect, they demand praise and so on.
咁佢有啲人嚟講係好要求人哋嚟講係尊敬佢喺度。
So when you start taking up Krishna consciousness, you find that aspect of you becomes slowly less, but it's there. You can identify yourself. You know you have it. Yeah.
咁當我哋再收集啲上師角嚟講呢方面嘅假我自我嚟講，仍然係存在喺度嘅。你會留意就仲喺度，不過係慢慢係減低。
So what to do?
我哋要點樣做啊？
What are some things you can do?
咁或者有啲乜嘢我哋可以做？
Keep quiet.
唔出聲，
Plant more.
Chant more. Okay, good. What
多
else?
唱仲多啲，
Surrender to Krishna. It's
神服 Krishna。
yeah. How you? Yes, we can say all this. How you said
我哋係神服 Krishna，我哋可以講好多，
it?
Do more say.
Do more service. Yes.
做多啲服務，
Yeah. Take up more service.
服務多啲，咁就更加。
你 serve more devotees。It's more important to serve more devotees。
Serve more devotees. Yes, good. Anything else?
More opinion to if a devotee assign something we do the more opinion. More
Obedient.
obligation.
Obedience. Yeah. Be more obedient. Yeah. Take a humble position.
咁我哋比較謙卑啲啦，同埋係
What else? One more thing.
有啲乜嘢喺度，有一樣嘢喺度，
Eat prasada.
Eat more prasada.
食多啲
Eat
嘢。
more prasada. Yeah, you can do that. What? Yeah. Association mentioned. Yeah.
提過啦，就係同奉者聯誼。
Association is very good because the senior devotees will chastise you, so you learn to be tolerant. Yeah.
咁好嘅同奉者，譬如啲進步啲比較先資深嘅奉者，可能會責備你喺度啦。咁當你俾責備嗰時，你會學識係容忍。
That's one more thing
仲有一樣嘢嘅，
that you all can do. Anyone can.
每一個人都可以做，
Huh? Yes, prayers.
就係禱告，向 Krishna 禱告，
Yes.
Beg for mercy.
Beg for mercy.
祈求 Krishna 嘅恩慈。
You can go to the Lord and say, Shishigonitai, I'm so proud, I want people to praise me. Help me, overcome this consciousness.
咁我哋向主禱告啦，少少高啲低禱告啦。咁希望祈求佢嚟講，我仍然有一個假我驕傲，想人哋係讚美嗰度，希望我克服呢啲嘅品質。
Don't make it too difficult, but gradually make me surrender to you.
咁唔好令到好複雜喺度啦，希望能夠幫到我慢慢嚟講係臣服你。
I mean, this is true because if you say take everything away, then he does it, then you will become very unhappy.
咁係真喺度㗎。咁如果我哋真係話所有我哋擁有嘅嘢、身邊嘅嘢嚟講攞出嚟講咧，我哋覺得係唔開心。
So they have to remind him to be.
No, it's actually, you're taking that position that you're not ready yet. Yeah.
咁你好坦白同佢講嘅話，其實我哋係仲未到咁嘅階段咧。
You're being honest.
我哋要坦白啦對自己。
Would he not know already?
Of course he knows, but then this is your humility.
咁當然啦，你即係去問到
You're
即係佢話
confessing your truth.
佢唔中書都睇唔知道，當然佢知道喺度，咁呢個就係代表我哋個真誠喺度。
Yeah, it's not like in that case, we can always say that Krishna knows everything, why I pray.
我亦都可以咁樣講，你個 Krishna 知道一切喺度，點解我仲要向佢禱告咧？
Right?
係咪？
Most people do that. We say, oh, Krishna knows,
咁
but they're not humble.
咁好多人都係咁樣講，哦 Krishna 知道佢乜嘢都知道喺度啦。咁當你咁諗嚟講，其實啲人係唔得謙卑。
It's just like a dog, the dog is hungry. The dog can sit down and say, well, the master knows I'm hungry. Right?
就好似隻狗咁樣喺度啦，咁可以靜靜咁坐喺度，跟住等個主人嚟餵佢喺度。我肚餓，主人一定知道我肚餓嚟餵我，
He will feed me.
你會想埋嚟餵我。
Right? Actually, that's what the dogs do nowadays. They've trained the homeowners to feed them on time.
Yeah.
今日啲狗就係今日啲狗就已經訓練到咁樣嘅，到後啲主人就唔使嚟餵佢，所以乜都唔使做，一等食。
But if the dog is properly trained, he'll come and beg for them.
Yeah.
咁其實正確嘅訓練嚟講，應該係啲狗周圍走去揾食物啊，直求人哋俾食物俾佢。
I'm hungry, please feed me.
我好肚餓喺度話唔該你餵我啦。
So similarly, we go to Krishna and says, I'm very proud, please help me.
咁同樣咧，我哋走去 Krishna 向 Krishna 禱告啊，我好驕傲喺度啊 ，Krishna 請你幫我。
Okay, so it is reflected by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Shikshashtaka verse 3,
咁八區分嘅第3篇嚟講，呢一攤嘢係講到呢一點出嚟。
Okay. Everyone knows that Trinara Visunichinavas.
咁嗰先正係大多數人都知道。
Okay. The next one is truthful, Satyasara.
咁第三點嚟講就係真誠誠信。
Okay, so if you are initiated or if you are aspiring to be initiating, then the most important thing is to avoid sinful acts and chant 16 rounds every day.
咁如果你已經係受咗啟迪或者係渴望得到啟迪嚟講咧，你哋好真誠嚟講就係避免所有罪惡活動啦，同埋係每日係唱誦16圈。
The activities you do pleases Krishna. So truthful means you want to please Krishna also.
咁我哋所做嘅嚟講要係真誠咁樣。咁其實真誠嚟講咧，我哋可以係取悅 Krishna。
Okay. Next one is a devotee is equal to everyone. Sama.
咁另一個跟住來講就係奉獻者嚟講係視眾生如一平等嘅我哋嘅心。
Okay, this is on a, you can say a high level of practitioner, one who's already at the level of seeing the Paramatma.
咁呢個係比較更高嘅層次喺度嘅。當一個人達到嗰種層次嚟講咧，你先已經係能夠係見到係超連，
Like Prahlad Maharaj,
就好似係 Prahlad Maharaj，
right?
係咪？
When Hiranyakasipu said, "Can you see Krishna?" He said, "Yeah, I can see," because he can actually see Krishna in the walls everywhere.
咁就好似喺呢卡斯問你啦，Prahlad Maharaj話你見唔到 Krishna？ 咁 Prahlad講佢話：，我就係隨處每處地方我都係見到 Krishna 喺度，嗰埲牆啊，任何地方我都見到 Krishna。
Okay, but what about us?
咁我哋
How
係
to
點咧？
see everyone equal?
咁我哋係咪做到嚟講，即係所有人都係一樣平等喺度？
Hmm?
我哋做唔做到？
Not yet, no.
Huh?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. But so how you will treat everyone equally?
係咁，我哋係未做到咧。咁我哋點樣係？
The fact that you know that Krishna resides in everybody's.
Okay, very good.
咁好一點就話，我哋係而家係真係未感覺到，但係我哋睇當點樣睇咧？當 Krishna 喺每一個人內心嗰度，所以我哋可以咁樣嚟睇。
We have studied that Krishna is in the hearts of all living entities, so we should always bring that into our consciousness.
咁我哋透過學習嚟講咧，認識到 Krishna 係每一個人嘅心中嗰度，而每一次嚟講，我哋將呢個觀念、意識之覺嚟講咧，係帶到我哋嘅腦海中。
Okay, so that way we will respect the other individual. Yeah,
We are part and parcel.
we are part and parcel of Krishna.
咁我哋
Yes.
係 Krishna 嘅不可分割嘅部分。
Okay. Anything else?
有冇其他嘢？
All right. Let's.
It is given that always chant 16 rounds of japa on his beats every day.
Yes.
So it beats, we do not consider the counter.
No, counter is counter. Beat says Tulsi Mala.
So that's not inclusive.
Let him dance.
咁佢講到話，唱仲要用係念珠唱度，咁佢會講話，我哋有時用 counter 用個計數機嗰嚟唱，咁佢會講話念珠還念珠 counter，即係計數機計數嗰啲計數嗰度，因為念珠嚟講係當時嘅念珠。
Just to touch on that, you can chant the holy name. There's no hard and fast rules. Mahaprabhu says that. But we are sadhakas, means we are beginners. We are trying to overcome our senses and so on.
咁主要睇嚟講到就係話，唱誦聖名嚟講係冇硬性嘅規則嘅，但係我哋身為一個收集者嚟講咧，咁主要睇嚟又咁樣同我哋睇到。
Yeah. And so we need every help.
我哋係需要任何可以幫到我嘅嘢，我哋都要嗰啲嘢幫助我哋。
And according to acharyas, they know Tulsi Maharani is very, very dear to Krishna.
因為啲 Acharya 我哋嘅導師知道嚟講咧，Tulsi Maharani 嚟講咧係 Krishna 係好中意嘅奉獻者嚟。
And therefore, they have recommended that when we chant on the Tulsi Mala, she gives us the blessing. Remember, you all chant in the morning Tulsi prayers? Please make me a maid servant. So therefore, you chant on Tulsi beads, you will get the blessing.
咁我記得我哋每朝頭早嚟講咧，連個禱文喺度啦，希望得到佢嘅恩慈，俾我哋係成為一個女僕喺度，係木姑娘嘅女僕喺度。咁所以我哋係唱誦用念珠嚟講咧，係透過唱誦嚟講，希望得到係 boost 俾我哋嘅祝福。
So interestingly, if you chant on crystals, you go to Indraloka like that. So, we may not know many of these things, and it's not really important, but if you think you can just chant it when you are not so advanced, then you will have some problems when you don't go back to Godhead, you may go to heavenly planets.
咁好似譬如如果我哋唱得唔正確，或者我哋唱 Kiss 度，可能去到天堂星宿、天地因陀羅嗰個地方度。咁尤其是我哋而家未到一個好高嘅階段嚟講咧，我哋如果係唱得唔正確嗰時嚟講咧，可能未必一度翻神手，可能去到係天堂星宿。
Now the question is it wrong to chant on a clicker or something? No, it's not.
咁唔通我用個計數嗰嚟唱做嚟講，係咪唔啱咧？唔係唔啱。
But the result won't be the same.
但係個結果嚟講咧，唔係一樣。
The rate of purification is different.
因為個淨化嘅過程嚟講係完全唔同。
So you have to decide how fast you want to go back or how slow you.
所以你自己決定喺度，你想幾快翻到去神手咧？咁你自己決定。
Yeah. Yes.
Nowadays, many Musimalas not made from tools,
Mm.
made from neem or something.
Yes. Yes.
So have the same effect as Muslim.
No. Mm.
It has to be.
咁而家嚟講咧，有好多人啲念珠嚟講，未必一定係用陶瓷整，有啲係用黏樹整嘅都會。咁啱先問佢話咁個效果嚟講係咪一樣咧？咁就唔好講話唔同。
But if you follow the instruction of your guru and then sincerely, the reason I'm saying is in the early days when Prabhupada was in New York, they just got any beads that are made for those decorations, and then they chanted on that, and they are all exhausted.
咁其實睇你個真心啊，個真實
Prabhupada
當
chanted
然
on
啦。
that.
咁好似譬如好早期嗰陣時，鳳姐啲係好多都唔係用陶瓷念珠喺度嘅，好多係咁求其裝飾品上啲珠咁，佢就攞嚟念喺度，念俾你。但係由於你真誠嚟講啦，同埋跟住靈性導師訓練咧，最後嚟講好多變成係為大學面前。
So it's time, place, and circumstance. So in that case, Prabhupada chanted on those. They are very potent because he's a pure devotee. But if we go outside and buy our own bead and chant, yeah, you're chanting the holy name, but it's not, the potency is not so much.
咁當然啦，睇時間啊、地方啦、環境嚟講係作唔同決定。咁喺嗰個時講咧，因為啲念珠全部啪啪唱盡，佢好大嘅威力係喺度嘅。咁唔同我哋自己走去街度自己買條念珠，跟住自己唱盡嚟講咧，係個效果個威力係唔同。
And the acharyas want us to chant on Tulsi Mala, not on anything else. So if you don't follow that, you're actually, saying or acting like you know better.
咁我哋啲 Acharya，我哋啲導師嚟講咧，建議我哋係用陶瓷嘅念珠嚟唱誦啦。咁如果我哋講，我唔用念珠，我用其他嘢唱誦嚟講，我哋可能有一個錯覺，以為我仲叻過我啲老師喺度，我自己呢個諗法。
Yeah. So one can even say, oh, the Purana doesn't say this is not so bad, you can chant. Because anyone can chant the holy name, it's very powerful.
咁有啲人會講《大特經》有啲網頁呢個網際書嚟講，可能未必有提到呢方面喺度。咁唱誦聖名，任何人都可以唱誦啦，你可以係咁樣講。
Yeah. When we are at a very high level, you can do many things that won't affect you so much.
咁當一個好高嘅層次，嗰陣時修行到好多高個層次嚟講咧，你做啲嘢嚟講，或者嗰啲嘢嚟講係影響唔到你。
But when you're very low in the beginning ladder, you need all the support to push you up.
但係我哋應該好初階、好低層嘅修行嗰陣時嚟講咧，我哋希望得到所有嘅嘢，呢嘢幫助我哋可以抬高、拱高我哋上去更高嘅層次。
So we follow what the acharyas and the predecessor teachers tell us.
所以我哋應該係跟隨先前嘅Acharya嘅老師嚟講，你係教導叫我哋點樣做，我哋跟住咁樣做。
But let's say you are very sickly and you can't even move your fingers. So then maybe you have artificial intelligence, you can chant and it clicks on the screen 1, 2, like. So that's okay. Yeah.
咁或者你身體狀況嚟講啦，係唔可以做到嗰個念珠唱誦嗰度，咁或者你用啲智能嗰啲 AI 嗰啲嚟講，一念跟住幫你撻一次，代表你唱咗一次咁樣，或者用智能呢啲係幫你嘅，但係你身體狀況之下，你係唔許可。
Yeah. So you understand what I'm trying to emphasize? Yeah.
你明白
It's
我
not
係
that you
佢
can't chant, but it's different degrees there.
咁唔係話你唔可以唱，就係嗰個效果唔同嘅層次走出。
Very often when we sometimes when travel on the road and then it's especially in China, it's not convenient to chant on the beat. So if you chant on the clicker,
Why is there difference?
no, because you cannot chant quietly with the feedback.
Why?
So what I want to ask is, if I chant on the clicker, that 60 rounds is often.
That's your question.
Yes.
Okay, not so much as a
Practical.
咁啊，即係問你話，因為我哋成日經常要旅遊喺度，特別想大陸嗰度啦，咁唔係咁方便，你揸住個念珠袋咁走嚟唱喺度。咁如果我哋係用啲計數機 count 啲嚟計你，咁究竟係算唔算我哋唱16個圈嘅咧？
Yeah, I mean, when you're traveling and it's not so convenient, airplane and so on, if you feel embarrassed to chant on your big bag and so on, that means you don't have sufficient faith, first of all. But secondly, it's okay, it's all right, you know. Yeah.
咁當我哋係旅遊嗰時嚟講，或者覺得好尷尬啊，好怪啲人覺得我哋揸住念珠袋唱嗰時咁樣，咁或者嗰時我哋係未必有一個足夠嘅信心喺度。咁你可以用嗰個計數器嚟講唱仲係冇問題可以。
One sadhu was saying, if you don't chant on the initiated beats, but you're chanting on everything else, then he said you are starving the beats.
咁有啲有聖人係咁樣講到啦。如果你唱誦唔用你自己體力嗰條念珠嚟唱誦，用其他嘅唱誦嚟講，意思嚟講你就令到個念珠好似好飢餓咁，就得唔到你唱誦攞嚟唱誦。
So, you know, beats your guru chanted on, yeah, chant on that as much as possible. Like when you're traveling and you feel uncomfortable, okay, it's fine. But you shouldn't just use that for, let's say, 1 year for 9 months you chant on clickers and 1 month only you chant, then that's wrong.
咁好似念珠嚟講，經過靈性導師嘅唱誦嚟講啦，係效果係唔同喺度啦。咁當然咁你有時旅行嚟講可能係唔方便喺度間唔中用唱，但係最唔好就係話你唔可以話1年嚟講有9個月都係用卡卡唱，咁而唱誦到念珠得1兩個月嚟講，咁就唔係咁好。
The spiritual master, since we are talking about chanting, the spiritual master personally chants on the beat. He's putting his affection, consciousness, and he's connecting you with the Guru Parampara. It's called Guru Tadiya. That means it's your connection to your spiritual master.
咁我唱個念珠要經過靈性導師嘅唱誦嚟講，其實靈導師個啟你之前練我唱誦嚟講，就將佢個意識知覺喺度啦，個心態嚟講係聯繫翻使到傳系喺度。所以當我唱誦嗰時，我用啟呢個念珠嚟練講嘅意思就係幫我哋係再聯繫翻我哋靈性導師同埋使徒團系。
So when the Guru leaves, they say, I don't have anything of the Guru. Then you carry your beats.
咁有人講話個靈性導師嚟講係離開咗咁對嚟講，咁你就有個念珠喺度手上，起碼有個念珠啊。
So if you have that realization and you can see your spiritual master, you know, affection and love is in there, then you should chant that and you're connected.
咁你應該喺當你就明白到，當靈導師係將個愛心同埋嘅嘢係連咗一齊唱誦喺念珠嗰陣時嚟講咧，你就會係明白到嚟講，原來念珠嚟講對我唱誦係咁重要啊。
It's just like bulbs, you know. If you put the bulb directly into the socket, it's very bright, it burns. But if you put foil, everything, and then you try to put it, won't connect so well.
咁就好似我哋嗰個燈膽啦，將佢扭上去接咗個電源嘅，馬上會好光到。但係如果我當初嚟講包咗啲石珠，有時佢變咗接觸嘅效果就唔係咁好。
You're still not satisfied. Wait, yes.
Oh, I just want to say about the beat because when I travel around the world, I do use my beat, and actually I meet devotees. Prabhupada, I met once in Canada.
Okay, that's nice.
So they came and said, "Oh, Hare Krishna," and we sat together and
You got good association.
yeah,
Nice.
had a session.
咁啱先講佢係好多時周圍去緊度啦，咁啊去到咩地方，當時都攞住個念珠袋照唱誦，好似去到加拿大，見到個奉獻者見到唱誦，馬上走埋嚟同佢傾偈喺度。咁佢話係拋嘅路途咁，姑姑講嚟講係啊，呢個係一個好嘅一個聯誼喺度，馬上都得到奉獻者嘅聯誼。
Yes.
This comes another kind of practical question, because especially in China.
Yes. Yes.
The devotees, they always use the spare.
Yes, that's why I said yes. I already know your question.
So I've been asked them, so I'm not, they are said, I'm not chanting on the.
Initiative. Yes, I
But they're
understand.
afraid to lose the original.
Of course.
So,
But my point is, don't start the initiative, please.
but very often when they're outside.
Yes.
咁一個好實際嘅問題，因為國內蓮奉者通常咧都有兩套連珠嘅，一套嚟講係啟迪嘅連珠，一套嚟講咧一驚唔見咗，就需要借另外一套士啤嘅即係後備嘅連珠喺度。咁但係如果講佢話係有種情況，但係你千祈唔好將你啟迪嘅連珠嚟講掂都唔掂佢，令到好似好餓，你掂都唔掂你掂。
They'll chant a bit.
Louder.
Yes, I remember one time I was with a man by the beach, and because we always mention, he we got to can try to find up the close beach. But I asked him, he said that he is a vegetarian, but he said that he drink.
Okay.
So, he said, need to follow the formal regulation or only vegetarian.
I mean, ideally, yes, but we shouldn't stop someone from chanting.
咁佢講到話有一次有個印象嚟講話買連珠去唱誦，咁話佢自己係素食嗰度，不過佢仲係飲酒喺度。咁啱先講喺咁嘅情況之下嚟講，係咪可以唱誦咧？咁嗰個我哋講佢嘅當然係即係可以繼續唱誦喺度啦。但係我哋
So if they want to wear Tulsi nightwear or chant on Tulsi Mala, it's okay because our movement is trying to get people to chant Hare Krishna.
I mean, this should be trained the name or the music.
I don't think it matters. Mostly we want them to chant.
咁佢講到就好似譬如有時戴連珠、戴頸連珠喺度，或者係唱誦連珠喺度。咁啊，住佢話咁，如果係咪嚟講，我哋應該去唱唔係唱 Toast， 而係俾啲念喺度。咁不過呢個唔係問題喺度，因為我哋嘅主要目的嚟講就係希望鼓勵多啲人係唱誦喺度。咁如果人唱誦，我哋係歡迎。
The way I see it is, we want to give them the mercy.
我哋希望係俾仁慈俾佢哋。
So if you want Tulsi, then go. If Tulsi Marani is not happy with me, I ask for forgiveness. But I want them to chant.
咁佢話如果佢話係你要念Toast嘅，咁我會俾喺度。咁如果都媽你哋講係對我唔高興冇嘢嚟咁講，我希望係原諒我喺度，但係我只係想多啲人係唱誦。
Right? Our mood should be to help people to chant.
我哋嘅心態嚟講就希望係幫多啲人，越嚟越多人唱誦最好。
We become so worried about all these things, and then we lose a jiva from going back to Godhead.
咁如果我哋係又擔心呢樣又擔心嗰樣嚟講咧，變咗我哋係損失咗個靈魂喺度，翻神手喺度，損失咗個靈魂翻神。
Okay, we have to go.
我要繼續。
And one more, last one.
最後
我全年跌咗，咁我要翻以前咯，全年咯，咁點算？
she lost the initial beat, then he get so he use another beat to change.
Okay,
佢可以啊。
that's okay. You can ask your Guru Maharaj.
佢話你可以問靈性導師可以再幫你練一次。
Yeah, you can ask your spiritual master to chant on a new beat.
佢可以再唱咗，幫你再叫靈性導師幫你唱一條新嘅連珠。
16 rounds of japa on his beats every day. Sometimes you miss a few rounds and you carry forward to the next one. Is that allowed or is not?
Just for one day is okay, but not every day.
咁佢話有時即係唱唔晒喺度，留翻幾個圈數，留第二日唱喺度。咁好講嚟講，一日冇問題，唔好日日都係咁樣，對就唔好。
Okay, let's go.
咁我哋繼續。
A devotee is faultless, nidosha.
咁半者嚟講係冇錯過錯嘅。
Okay, so devotee is surrendered in body, mind, and words to Krishna, and always doing whatever Krishna wants.
咁奉獻者嚟講咧，你嘅身心語言都係全部係奉獻俾 Krishna 喺度，佢就執行 Krishna 嘅意願。
So because he's trying to please Krishna, we consider the person faultless.
咁由於佢哋係嘗試係取悦 Krishna 啦，咁所以我哋視之為係冇過錯、冇瑕疵。
So you may do only a little bit of service, and the other person is doing a lot more service. But both of you are faultless because you are pleasing Krishna.
咁或者某一啲人做咧，服務嚟講比較少啲，有啲人或者係做比較係大啲多啲嘅服務喺度。咁兩位嚟講咧，都係一樣喺度嘅，因為大家都係冇瑕疵冇錯喺度。
That means you can only do so much.
因為你嘅身體嚟講，只係可以係做到咁樣喺度。
6, the devotee is magnanimous.
奉獻者嚟講係仁慈。
So just like someone wants to chant on the beads, tulsi beads, you say it's okay, go and eat, even if you're a meat eater. So you're magnanimous.
咁最少一個人如果係我想唱 Hare Krishna 喺度，咁你知道嚟講佢係食肉喺度嘅，咁但係如果你嘅仁慈咧嚟講好啦，你照俾佢用念珠唱 Hare Krishna。
Yeah. So you want to always help people get good fortune. Yeah.
我哋希望能夠係幫某時常想幫一啲人嚟講係改變你嘅命運，轉做好運。
Of course, if you find someone is inimical to Krishna and so on, then we don't, encourage them in some ways.
咁當然咧，如果我哋發現有啲嚟講對 Krishna 係懷有敵意嚟講，咁變咗我對啲人嚟講咧，我哋唔好諗住有啲咩可以係期望喺身上嗰度做到。
We avoid them or we give them only prasad.
或者我哋避免接觸呢啲人咧，或者我哋只有嚟講淨係俾 prasad 佢哋就算。
Okay. Number 7, a devotee is mild, mridu.
一奉獻者嚟講係和善溫良。
So Prabhupada's quote is, devotee avoids chasing after illusory material happiness and its resultant suffering.
咁算Prabhupada講奉獻者係唔會追隨啲幻象下嘅物質享樂啦，因為呢啲最後嚟講都係帶嚟痛苦嘅。
He remains peaceful because he's satisfied in Krishna consciousness.
佢感覺係感到係平和喺度，因為佢自己處於 Krishna 知覺當中。
That mildness comes not from timidity, but from deep self-satisfaction.
呢啲嘅謙卑嚟講咧，唔係由於係內怯啦，或者係內弱喺度，而係深層嘅自我滿足而做到。
Like the great ocean, he is pacified. Others get agitated and rant over worldly happenings, personal frustrations and misgivings. But the devotee depends upon Krishna and tries to carry out the Lord's order.
咁佢好似大海咁平靜啦，唔係好似呢啲其他人嚟講咧，係為世事嚟講感覺係躁動嘅，譬如個人嘅失敗喺度啊、顧慮啊、抱怨嘅。而奉獻者嚟講咧，佢一係依賴 Krishna 嚟講咧，係努力執行主 Krishna 嘅旨意。
So you can see for yourself, maybe now you may have that quality of mildness, but let's say tomorrow the stock market crashes, and then you see how you react. If you say it's okay, Krishna will take care, then maybe you are still mild.
或者我哋而家個溫順比較溫順善良嘅溫順嘅一個感覺喺度啦。咁我哋要睇下點樣，好似聽日個股市崩潰，咁嗰時你講會唔會你淨係覺得係咁樣喺度咧？哦，有得去啦 ，Krishna 會係照顧一切，你哋仲會唔會抱住咁嘅心態咧？
So every obstacle in your life depends how you can handle it. Yeah.
咁我哋每一生命嚟講都碰到好多嘅面對好多困難喺度啦，究竟係點樣去面對同埋處理呢啲問題咧？
Okay. Number 8, the devotee is clean, suchi.
咁跟住嚟講就係奉獻者嚟講要係乾淨啦 suchi。
This no need to talk. This one everyone should be.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
had it yesterday.
Yeah, we discussed yesterday also.
咁呢點係唔使講，因為琴日我哋都講過，咁其實每個人都應該係做到。
Number 9, the devotee is without material possession, akinchana.
咁奉獻者嚟講咧係無物質嘅擁有，akinchana。
Yeah. Kunti also has in a prayer.
咁喺昆帝皇后禱文嚟講咧，有提到呢樣嘢。
Basically, you're not possessive of things. You use things in the service of Krishna.
咁事實上我哋冇擁有任何嘢喺度，我哋將所擁有嘅嚟講係服務 Krishna。
Yeah. So whatever you have, you're satisfied.
咁無論有咩嚟講咧，我哋應該感到滿足。
You're not hankering for big houses, especially in Hong Kong.
咁我哋唔會渴望我哋間大屋喺度，咁尤其是香港啦。
Yeah, you should be satisfied. You really learn to be satisfied in Hong Kong.
香港嚟講，你真係要學識點樣咁要滿足喺度。
Yeah, so you can use that to your advantage, or you just get the British passport and increase your desires.
咁或者我哋係滿足現狀嗰度啦，或者我哋喺唔滿足嚟講就攞個英國嘅護照，就喺英國嗰度繼續我哋物質多啲嘅慾望。
Yeah, you should understand, no, this material world is always meant to give you problems and troubles.
你要記住一樣嘢，物質世界嚟講就係俾你帶嚟問題同埋煩惱。
You can go to another city or country, but the different type of problems will come.
咁或者我哋去其他嘅第啲國家啦，或者係城市喺度，咁但係喺嗰度嚟講，你又要面對啲其他嘅問題。
Like everyone thinks America is so great, but now you go, you're in Trump.
咁好多人嚟講，喺美國好偉大喺度，但係而家你過到嗰邊嚟講，就面對川普呢個人。
So different countries you think it's very favorable, but then there's something will come and you'll never be happy.
咁有啲人嚟講話，某一啲國家可能會好，但係當你去到嚟講咧，亦有另一啲嘅問題發生，你會係唔覺得快樂。
Yeah, so don't gather material possessions too much.
所以唔好太過收集多啲嘅物質嘅擁有嘅嘢。
Be satisfied, become peaceful.
要滿足我哋現狀啦，係變得係平和。
Best thing is to go back to
Godhead.
Godhead.
而最好嚟講就係我哋回歸神手咯。
All right. 10. A devotee performs welfare work for everyone. Sarvo Pakaraka.
奉獻者嚟講係眾生係製造福利嘅。
How do we do that? By giving them Krishna consciousness.
我哋點樣係做到咧？就係俾 Krishna 知覺佢哋。
Okay, number 11. A devotee is peaceful. Shanta.
咁奉獻者嚟講係平和。
It doesn't mean he doesn't do any work and sits or lies down in a bed. Shanta.
都唔係意思嚟講就係我哋乜都唔做，或者瞓喺張床躺平。
Yeah. Means he understands, as I was saying, material world is in chaos, but he's not disturbed by this.
咁佢當然係知道物質世界嚟講係好腐敗喺度，咁佢係唔受呢方面嘅嘢影響。
Okay. And Srila Prabhupada gives the Bhagavad Gita quotes, 521, Bhaktaranya Gita Pasum, you should know that. Yeah.
咁泡泡嚟講咧係引咗個詩節就係博吉梵歌第5章第29句呢個詩節，咁呢個嚟講應該大家都認識㗎。
Okay, number 12. This is the most important.
呢個係第12點係最重要嘅一點。
Devotee surrender to Krishna. Krishnaika Sharana.
咁奉獻者嚟講呢個神服 Krishna style。
If you have this quality, all the other qualities will manifest automatically.
當我哋如果有呢個品質嚟，有呢項品質嚟講，所有其他嘅品質你都隨之而嚟，慢慢展示我哋身上。
Yeah, but if you develop all the other qualities and you don't have Krishna, you are still stuck in this world.
咁如果即使我哋培養晒所有其他嘅品質，而單獨冇呢項品質嚟講咧，我哋仍然嚟講要滯留喺呢個物質世界。
So our surrendering process, we are trained by our senior devotees.
咁我哋嘅皈依嘅神服嘅程序嚟講咧，係由啲資深嘅奉獻者嚟講係訓練我哋得到。
And one shouldn't see the senior devotees correcting or telling us as enemies.
所以當我哋有啲資深奉獻者糾正我哋嗰陣時嚟講，我哋唔好覺得嚟講佢係針對我喺度啊，或者係對我有敵意喺度咁做。
When it's difficult hearing from another devotee telling what to do, it's an opportunity to become humble.
咁當我哋係唔係咁願意聽到奉獻者嚟講話我哋嘅錯處做錯嘢嗰時嚟講咧，其實正好你調翻轉嚟諗一個好嘅機會係俾你係變得更加謙卑。
And it's an opportunity to thank Krishna, to teach you what humility is.
咁我哋應該喺個機會喺度啦，多謝 Krishna 俾個機會嚟講係練習訓練你點樣變得謙卑。
Yeah, so that is surrender because you're not going against those things.
因為呢個其實係一個神服啊，因為你係願意做呢啲嘢，唔係反對呢啲嘢。
Generally, a devotee will accept all the difficulties as mercy of Krishna.
咁通常奉獻者嚟講咧，就面對所有嘅困難嚟講咧，佢會當作係 Krishna 俾佢一種嘅恩賜。
And everything that is wonderful, he sees it as blessings.
咁所有啲係奇妙嘅嘢、好嘅發生身上咧，佢當為一隻 Krishna 俾係一種嘅祝福。
Yeah, so some days he'll say, today Krishna is very merciful.
咁某一日另外張我哋會係咁樣諗嘅，啊 Krishna 真係對我好啊，今日真係恩慈嘅對我。
And other days he'll say, Krishna is blessing me.
咁而另一日，
I
另
don't
外
know
一日
why.
你覺得啊 Krishna 祝福緊我喺度啊，我唔知點解 Krishna 會咁樣對我。
Maybe he's preparing me for some mercy.
有 Krishna 嚟講，佢正準備緊一啲啦，俾一啲恩慈俾我。
Okay. All right. 13. The devotee is desireless, akama.
你奉獻者嚟講係無欲無求啊，啱啊。
Now, when devotee is desireless, it means he's desiring Krishna.
咁當奉獻者嚟講係無欲無求嘅意思嚟講，佢就係只係有一個慾望，就係慾望得到 Krishna。
Or to go further, he desires to please Krishna. He desires to serve Krishna's devotees.
咁我哋再講拉開遠深啲嚟講，就係你係想取悅 Krishna， 或者係想取悅 Krishna 嘅奉獻者。
And therefore, he has no material desires.
所以我哋話佢係冇物質嘅慾望。
Okay. Whereas there may be people who are desireless, but they are desireless of material things, but they have no Krishna.
咁有啲人嚟講話就係冇慾望，但係佢哋係有慾望呢個物質方面嘅嘢喺度，佢唔係慾望 Krishna 喺度。
Yeah, you'll find yogis or some philosophers, they may attain the level of becoming desireless, but they don't know what they desire.
咁或者你見到啲瑜伽師或者啲哲學家，佢哋係達到一個境界或者叫做無慾望喺度，但係佢哋唔知道佢哋真正嘅慾望應該係乜嘢。
Yeah, we know either it's material desires or spiritual desires.
我哋要認識到嚟講，一係就有物質慾望，一係就係靈性嘅慾望。
Yeah. So if they don't have material desires, then what are they having? They have some desires.
咁佢哋係如果冇咗物質慾望嚟講，究竟係乜嘢喺度咧？因為慾望一定係有喺度，如果冇物質慾望，跟住佢哋係有啲乜嘢咧？有啲咩慾望咧？
So generally, you find those people who don't have Krishna in their life, their desires will come back to philanthropic activities.
所以發覺啲人嚟講咧，如果佢哋係冇 Krishna 嚟講咧，你所謂嘅冇咗慾望之後嚟講，佢翻轉頭會做一啲嘅博愛啊，一啲嘅慈善嘅一啲活動嗰啲嘅嘢，
Because they are not satisfied.
因為
So
佢哋
they,
係唔
they
感
want
到
to dig
滿
a
足，
hole, let me go.
因為佢哋係唔感到滿足，
Yeah, dig a well,
或者佢係開井啦，
build a
或
hospital,
者係起一間醫院啦，
food for life.
或者係派食物啦。
Not devotee food for life, but they do anadana and all this thing.
雖然唔係奉獻者，我哋奉獻者有派祭魚喺度啦，佢哋亦都係派發食物喺度，但係奉獻者係唔到。
So desires must be spiritualized,
咁慾望嚟講，一定要將佢靈性化，
and it has to be transposed to Krishna. If not, it'll come back and harm us again.
咁我哋一定要係將佢轉化，定係去到 Krishna 嗰度嚟講。如果唔係，就變翻你會傷害到我哋。
Because if you do not put your desire in the proper place, you won't be satisfied.
因為如果我哋唔將慾望放喺一個正確嘅位置嚟講，我哋係唔會感到滿足。
I have a question. So sometimes, I don't know about others, but I do, say, when I pray to Krishna, I do say that, give me a better salary so that I can offer more in your services, or that I wish at some point I know you would bless me with a bigger apartment so I can have house programs. Does that translate to desires as
No,
well?
that's all. The prayers are okay because you want to use it in the service of Krishna. And at such times, the Krishna knows actually when you're ready for those things, and he bless you when you're ready. Yeah.
咁啦，即係提到嚟講，有時譬如我做禱告啦，咁啊 Krishna 係俾我多啲人工嗰度啊，俾個大屋揾到多人工可以服務好啲，或者大屋可以搞啲house program 喺度啊咁啊。咁但係講佢話Krishna 呢啲有冇問題？佢冇問題喺度，但係 Krishna 會知道究竟你而家已經係準備好未喺度？你準備好佢先會俾你，你準備好嚟講 Krishna 唔會俾你。
I remember one time, like maybe almost 30 years ago,
咁我記得我大概30年前啦。
And one man came, he just got laid off from job.
咁有個我哋啱啱俾炒魷喺度，
Yeah, so he came to the temple because there's no one else.
So he came to Krishna.
咁突然之間你我就去廟嗰度，因為揾唔到人幫忙嗰度，所以走去廟嗰度。
So he came for a few days, maybe 3 days he came.
咁佢嚟咗廟，大概我諗3日到啦。
So then he talked to all the devotees, he talked to me also. Then he said, don't worry, just chant and you pray to Nilamadava, our deities, and they will bless you, don't worry.
咁跟住同所有父子都有傾啦，咁亦都同我傾呢度啦。咁本身佢講就你唔需要擔心嘅，你咁只要向呢啲媽我哋嘅神像嗰度咧，向禱告就得㗎啦。
So then he was saying, yeah, I'll do so many things, if I get a job, I'll come and do donation and all that.
跟住佢講就我會為廟去做好多嘢喺度啊。咁如果我真係揾到份工嚟講咧，跟住我會捐錢啊，會做好多嘢。
So on the 3rd day he got a job.
3日之後真係揾到份工，
Yeah. And then we never saw him after that.
之後嚟講就冇再嚟過啦。
My desires are not like that.
開始我唔會咁樣。
I tell you, we want to.
No, I know. I'm just giving you an understanding of how people come to Krishna.
咁我真係講有啲人真係咁樣係見嚟 Krishna 度。
The bhakti Krishna can give you, but then I have experience. Krishna give me and then take it away.
Yeah, sometimes he'll see if you are able to handle it, and then if you can't, then he'll take away.
咁係啊 ，Krishna 會睇你能唔能夠處理得到，有時可能會俾咗你，跟住驚對你唔好時嚟講會攞翻走。
Yes.
Just wanted to share, this is my desire.
Speak louder.
Sorry, I was going to say that the question that Bhakti asked, and this kind of desire often also the mind tricks us into saying that I want better this, better that.
Yes, for Krishna.
For Krishna. For Krishna, but it's usually not for Krishna. Or it may be 10% for Krishna, 90% for me.
Yeah.
And then very often, even obviously we can't cheat Krishna, and he knows that. So he knows what's our real intention, so he often doesn't give it.
Yes.
But when he does give it also sometimes, we find that even if our intention is pure, that we want to use it for Krishna, once we get it, then we become entangled. And the reality is that even if we want to do it for Krishna, we end up doing only 10% because 90% is involved in maintaining or taking care of the bigger partner or whatever. So it's very tricky. The mind is so tricky in telling us that this is I'm such a good devotee. I'm asking this for just
Yeah.
Krishna.
Generally, for devotees, yeah, go
咁
ahead.
啦，即係講你話其實我哋可能我哋個心意嚟講係玩弄緊我哋喺度啊。咁好多時嚟講，我哋講話係服務 Krishna 喺度嚟講啊，點得到嚟講點到？當我哋得到嗰時嚟講，可能得1成嚟講係服務 Krishna， 9成係自己用喺我哋自己係享受喺度。咁有啲人嚟講話真係一個純粹好純粹喺度。當佢係真係得到呢啲咁嘅祝福，攞啲咁嘅嘢嚟講咧，但係佢變咗嚟講咧，時間咧可能花好多時間嚟講係維係呢啲嘢嚟講，變咗都係仲得1成嚟講係服務 Krishna， 所以話個情況嚟講係，而我哋真係要好小心嚟講，係咪個心意嚟講係玩弄緊我哋喺度？
In general, I was saying when devotees wanted to pray for a lot of money from Krishna, you can look at the letters to Prabhupada. There were devotees who said to Prabhupada they want to start a business, and so they wanted to pray to Lord Ganesh. And so Prabhupada said, yes, you can pray, but you have to give me 100,000 every month. So he put a stop to that in general.
咁我哋都係見過，譬如有啲奉者嚟講咧，你話想賺多啲錢嚟講係服務 Krishna， 跟住寫信俾包包喺度。咁信嗰邊講係話，包包我哋想係做生意喺度，咁我哋都崇拜嘅咧，上到包包，你崇拜都得喺度，不過你每月你捐1萬蚊俾我。咁其實包包嚟講係想借你嗰意思嚟講係推咗佢，叫佢唔好咁樣做喺度。
The other way is you can pray for lots of wealth, but you can also make a contract with the Lord saying that the money I get, I will ask my spiritual master how to use it.
咁或者你可以同 Krishna 訂立個合約喺度啦，就係話我如果我真係得到呢啲錢嗰時嚟講咧， 我會係問我嘅靈性導師係點樣用呢啲錢。
So that way it won't be 90%, 10%.
變咗你唔會就係話即係一成嚟講係用緊 Krishna 個90%係用緊自己嗰度。
So you can read that in the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Some of his disciples there was one disciple who gave all his money to Bhaktisiddhanta, and then Bhaktisiddhanta would say, "Here, this is for your home and your family."
咁我都睇到巴勒斯坦嘅修嚟講就係有啲人即係喺啲門徒係咁做，會有個門徒將所有嘅收嚟講係俾晒巴勒斯坦，但係巴勒斯坦嚟講收咗之後嚟講咧，跟住俾翻佢嗱，呢啲係俾你維持啲家庭嘅，呢個係俾你點樣我俾翻係佢一啲嘅。
Yes, bro.
頭先講話即係我哋收集咧會即係想要有錢啊咁我哋做生意會有錢啦。咁我哋譬如好似我哋做一啲奉獻服務，會可能揾到錢嘅。咁係奉獻服務嚟㗎嘛。咁如果我哋揾到譬如去 care 壇啊，或者做某一啲嘢係揾到錢嘅，咁 Krishna 俾我哋嘅，咁我哋揾到錢咧係要應該佈施㗎嘛。咁如果佈施幾多咧？如果唔佈施係咪會剔咗啲卡嘛？會影響個心意。
Say for some people maybe to make some money through some service or for example they go to some program have care time people can give some donation. So when we get the donation, what should we donate or offer to Krishna? This will affect our mind, our consciousness. What we should do through the devotional service, get some donation, get some money, what should we do?
Well, when you take money from people, you're taking their karma.
當你從人身上嗰度得到錢嚟講，你已經係攞咗佢哋嘅業報。
Yeah, so the Rupa Goswami says you have to give 50%.
咁Rupa Goswami 講一半將你收得到嘅錢，一半捐出嚟俾佢。你寫 all the money.
If you can,
如果你可以咁做嘅話，
yeah. Ideally is to give everything to Krishna.
其實理想嚟講，將所有嘢係供奉俾 Krishna。
Yeah, but if you can't, then at least 50%.
如果你唔能夠做到，起碼最少係一半。
But if you can digest other people's karma, then you can give less.
咁佢話：如果你能夠可以係消化晒啲所有嘅業報嚟講咧，咁你可以接受佢哋嘅啲錢。
Yes.
So in general measure, how much we want, how much our desire to serve Krishna is that will be the same, and that is what I noticed before. That whatever we earn, if we can give the 50% of that, then we are genuinely want a bigger apartment and or something else, so we can please Krishna. If we can give our 50% of money to the service of the Krishna.
Yeah, I think it's
你講話就係如果我哋係即係頭先提到嚟講咧，譬如我哋賺嘅錢嚟講，將一半嚟講係俾 Krishna 有證嚟講咧，跟住我哋係做我哋服務啊，我哋可以租屋住啊，或者咩喺度。
generally nowadays, because of the way the society is and the way the government taxes people and so on, you will find you can't live with 50%.
咁喺今時今日社會嚟講咧，由於譬如政府嘅制度啊，或者係稅收方面嚟講咧，可能我哋一半嚟講可能未必係夠用。
And so you have to balance your life very carefully.
咁我哋要喺我呢方面咧作出個平衡喺度啦，我哋生活嘅平衡。
You know, if you have to pay rent, like take Hong Kong, right? It's so expensive.
咁好似譬如你要交租咁，你知道香港啲租係幾咁之貴啦。
I remember many years ago when I was watching from one of the not here, when Brahmacharya ashram in that hut. So I was looking outside and I saw this person work leaving the home at 6 or 7 in the morning, come back at noon, change up, eat lunch, and then go again for a second work, and then come back in the evening around 4 or 5 o'clock, shower, change up, and go for 3 jobs.
咁我記得以前我喺舊嗰個巴巴查利嗰個住所嗰時咧，咁我望落去下邊對面嗰度有個人喺度住緊度。咁朝頭早嚟講翻工嚟講咧，翻工啦，咁跟住晏 晏晝到翻嚟咧，咁食嘢之後跟住換嗰套衫，就翻第二份工喺度。咁跟住夜晚5、6、7點嗰時翻嚟咧，又再換一套衫就翻嚟，即係一日做3份工咁樣。
Okay. So be practical, see how much you need. It's like, you don't need to have more than what you really can use.
咁我哋要自己考慮下，就翻個平衡度啦。咁我哋係我哋按我哋自己實際需要有幾多，你係用幾多。
Like, we have things in this corner, how often do we use this?
咁好似譬如我哋角落嚟講有個鞋架度，究竟我哋有幾常用到咧？
I'm not saying it's not used. I'm saying we do this in our everyday life. We get things and then it's just lying all over the place in the home.
即係我哋唔係講話係冇用喺度，而係我哋屋企好多嘢嚟講咧，都係攞咗翻嚟之後，跟住有幾常用到嗰啲嘢度，好多就咁擺咗喺度。
Okay. All right, let's go on.
我哋繼續。
14. A devotee is indifferent to material acquisitions.
咁奉者嚟講係對物質嘅擁有嚟講係不是物質擁有。
Okay, so we kind of touched on this, so we're not going to go into this.
我哋唔好太過
We've already touched on it with the other verses.
咁我哋係唔講呢個，再另外講另外個事節。
Okay. Text, 15. A devotee is fixed, sthira.
咁奉者嚟講係堅定不移。
In the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada explains one who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me.
咁《波羅蜜第12章第18個師節咁講，平等對待有敵、榮辱、寒熱、苦樂和榮譽中如不動，遠離不良聯誼，沉默自足，不執居所，智慧堅定，長處奉愛服務，此人最為我珍愛。
Okay, fix in knowledge. That means you know your position, you know your relationship with the Supreme Lord and the devotees, the material energy. So you have that understanding.
你係穩處你嘅知識嗰度，你知道你同至尊主嘅關係，佢嘅奉獻服務，所有呢啲一切嘅知識。
And therefore, anything outside of that shouldn't disturb you.
所以除咗呢之外，其他嘅嘢嚟講咧，唔會令到你困擾。
It should not take you away from Krishna.
唔會將你係令到你嚟講係離開 Krishna。
Okay, then that is fixed. That means no matter what happens in your life, you never give up your chanting and coming to temple.
意思嚟講，所有啲嘢嚟講咧，唔會影響到你，無論發生咩嘢都好啦，你仍然唔會放棄係唱誦同埋係嚟廟宇嘅。
Okay, 16. A devotee completely controls the 6 bad qualities.
換者嚟講，完全係降服6種壞嘅品質。
I think I touched on this already.
咁我曾經好似頭先講過嘅呢啲。
Okay. 17. A devotee eats only as much as required. Meet the book.
對奉獻者嚟講係飲食有道 meet the book。
Okay, so psychologically, everyone when we want to eat, we eat with our eyes, not with our stomach.
咁其實心理學嚟講咧，好多時我哋食嚟講咧係用我哋嘅眼嚟開始食嘢喺度。
It means you make a bigger plate than your stomach can handle.
咁好似譬如我哋做個好大嘅大餐嚟講咧，咁或者係我哋睇完跟住我食落個肚嗰度。
Yeah, so if you eat too much, you sleep too much, as Krishna tells Arjuna in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, too little recreation and so on, then you cannot actually practice yoga.
咁 Krishna 莫家梵嗰度講到，譬如我哋唔可以食得太多，唔可以太少啦。而睡眠啊或者娛樂嚟講都要係適度嘅。如果唔係，我哋唔可以收集瑜伽。
I'm trying to remember the verses. Do you know the verse? This eating too much, sleeping too much. Yeah. Swapnobhadavo vascha yoga bhavati dukkha. That's in 6:16. Sleeping too much, one should eat too much and so on.
你唔好瞓得太多喺度啦，或者係瞓得唔夠，或者唔好食太多大食。
Yuktahara vyarascha yukta chetasa karmasu swapno bhavagayascha yoga bhavati dukkha. That means if you eat too much, sleep too much recreation and so on, then you cannot practice yoga.
咁個師姐嚟講就係食得太多、瞓得太多，或者係娛樂得太多嚟講咧，你就好難收集 Krishna 之覺。
So Prabhupada says you only eat 1/4 of your stomach, half with food, 1/4 with water, and the another quarter with air.
咁啪啪係咁講啦，咁我哋胃嘅1/4係裝水啦，2/4係裝食物，而4/4留翻啲空氣嘅流動咧，唔可以暴飲暴食。
ISKCON devotees won't have water or air.
Yes.
呢度講就鳳姐，如果你咁講，你就比較難。
We need our prasad.
我哋係要食咩咧？我哋食 prasad。
Okay, 18. A devotee is without inebriation, apramatta.
鳳姐嚟講就保持清醒。
Basically, reduction in material lifestyle. Yeah.
咁其實呢個係呢個物質嘅生活嘅模式。
Yeah, so balancing with what he has. Yeah.
要平衡翻佢自己所有嘅嘢。
Okay, 19. A devotee is respectful, manada.
而鳳姐嚟講，心懷敬意。
That means he's willing to respect everyone and he's not expecting anything in return.
佢係尊敬每個人啦，而唔係期望人哋係有咩嘅回報俾佢。
Okay, 20. A
Isa.
devotee is without false prestige, amani.
而鳳姐嚟講冇虛假嘅榮譽。
All right, so there's a nice way of understanding false prestige. You can refer to your manual. False prestige can be considered in two ways. A, the object of prestige are falsely prestigious, and B, our claim to any prestigious object or position is false.
咁虛榮表現呢個係有兩種形式啦。第一種嚟講就係所追求嘅榮譽咧，本身嚟講係虛妄嘅，而聲稱擁有任何尊敬物質咧或者地位都係錯誤。
Yeah, is that clear?
你好清楚啊？
Okay. 21. A devotee is grave, gambira.
而鳳姐嚟講咧係莊重沉着，
Yeah, so he's very serious about going back to God here.
因為佢對回歸神手嚟講咧好認真。
Yeah. So similarly, this seriousness, when it comes in your life, then you will also adjust your lives.
咁當你如果係考慮到你個人生嚟講要點樣係認真嚟講咧，你就會係調整你自己嘅人生嘅策略。
Once you become serious, then you will see Krishna reciprocate with you also.
咁當你慢慢收集嚟講，有翻一段日子嚟講咧，你會感覺到 Krishna 嚟講點樣係回報翻俾你。
Then when you read the same verse of some Bhagavatam shloka, your understanding is much deeper.
咁當你再重讀博家梵嗰個詩節或者博家雅談詩節嚟講咧，你對呢個詩節嘅理解嚟講又再深一層認識。
Because you become serious, Krishna is now letting you understand now this is what you need to do.
因為當你係認真嚟講咧 ，Krishna 會係俾你嚟講就係話，你而家要點樣再重新再深入認識呢啲嘢。
Tesam sadatam yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam yena mamam payanti te. Gives you the knowledge by which you can come back to him. Yeah.
而 Krishna 俾一個知識嚟講咧，透過啲知識嚟講，你點樣係翻去 Krishna？
Okay. 22. A devotee is compassionate.
咁第22點咧就係鳳姐係仁慈憐憫。
Okay. So compassion for devotee is actually preaching.
咁對鳳姐嚟講，仁慈嚟講就係去傳教。
We don't just keep it to ourselves, we share with others.
我唔會話淨係自己收埋啦，我哋希望同人分享。
Yeah. And by preaching, you become pure.
透過傳道嚟講咧，我哋可以係淨化我哋內心。
And then when you're pure, you can preach more effectively.
咁當我哋係得到淨化嚟講啦，變咗我哋係更加有力量，走去傳教得更好。
Okay. 23. A devotee is a friend, Maitra.
咁奉者嚟講係好嘅朋友。
A devotee is a friend because he directs you to Krishna.
奉者嚟一個好嘅朋友，點解？因為佢係指引你走向 Krishna。
Okay. Suridam Sarvabhutanam. So Krishna is the best friend of all living entities.
因為 Krishna 係所有眾生嘅最好朋友。
24. A devotee is a poet, Kavi.
咁奉者嚟講係詩人。
So, generally you find devotees can write a lot of poems in praise of Krishna, spiritual master, write books, yeah.
咁你會留意到啦，喺奉者嚟講係寫好多嘅詩節啦，好多嘅禱文啊，或者係寫書籍嚟講係榮耀佢嘅靈性導師或者係 Krishna。
Yeah. So you can find yourself also sometimes you do Vyasa Puja offering, you write a poem in glorification of your spiritual master.
咁你都會做到或者留意到嘅，好似譬如你自己喺靈性導師嘅生日嚟講咧，你會係獻上咗禱文啊，咁或者你獻上一啲嘅詩一般形式嘅詩咁樣嘅禱文。
And in the description also, it also highlights that he sees Krishna in very poetic ways.
咁喺錄語入邊亦都係講到嚟講去一個好詩意嘅環境嚟講去睇 Krishna 喺度。
Like you're walking near the harbor front, and then you see the waves, and you think of Krishna pastimes or whatever.
咁或者譬如我哋行到海旁嗰度啦，見到啲浪花捲起嗰陣時，咁你諗起Krishna 一啲嘅逍遙時光。
Yeah, and you look at the sun, you see that is Krishna looking at me.
咁當你見到太陽嗰陣時，你講Krishna 喺度睇緊我。
So it's poetic in that way. Yeah.
咁好，你睇啲嘢講話好有詩意嘅，你會諗到好多嘢。
Okay, 25. A devotee is expert, daksha.
咁奉者嚟講係實踐能力好夠。
So that means the devotee, if they make flowers, they try to make so nice the flower garlands.
咁就好似奉者去穿花環即係講咧，佢會係想做個花環做得最好。
When they cook so nicely for Krishna.
因為佢哋煮嘢嚟講咧，希望個煮係最好嘅俾 Krishna。
Right? When they go out on books, when they do kirtan, they try to become very expert in doing all that.
咁好似譬如佢哋係出去 kirtan 嗰時啊，或者係講書籍嗰時嚟講，希望能夠係做到最好。
They really want to do well for Krishna.
佢哋希望能夠做到最好嘅 Krishna。
Not for themselves.
唔係為咗係自己。
Yeah. So sometimes it's difficult to know whether they are doing it for themselves or for
咁
Krishna.
有時都幾難分辨出究竟佢做啲係為自己而做，因為為 Krishna 而做。
But you can tell when let's say kirtan, when the kirtan really touches you in the right way, then you know they are singing for Krishna. Yeah.
咁其實你可以係留意到，譬如當一個人唱唱嗰時嚟講咧，真係令到你個內心嚟講，會觸動到你內心嚟講咧，咁你就會知道呢個唱唱嚟講係取於 Krishna 喺度。
Or when you look at the deities decorated and you're like, wow, it's so wonderful. So you know the devotee who was dressing to please Krishna.
咁好似譬如當你見到神像嘅打扮嗰時，講到打扮得好靚嗰度，你就知道嚟講呢個奉獻者為 Krishna 呢個奉獻者嚟講，真係一心一意做去做服務 Krishna。
Okay, and finally, the devotee is silent, mauni.
咁跟住呢啲點嚟講，就講奉獻者嚟講係言行謹慎。
A devotee never speaks nonsense. This is his silence. When he talks, it is only in glorification of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna.
奉獻者嚟講咧，從來唔會講廢話，呢個就係佢嘅沉默。佢講嘢嚟講，即係讚美至尊主 Krishna。
Yeah, not that he keeps quiet all the time. Our silence is we glorify Krishna.
咁唔係話時時都唔講嘢，係靜落嚟喺度，而係我哋嘅靜。當我哋講完嘅時候，淨係講 Krishna。
Yeah, and not about ourselves, how good we are.
唔好就係唔係話就話，淨係講我哋自己，我自己係點好點好。
Okay. Any comments? Otherwise, I'll give you 10-minute break.
咁有冇啲咩嘢可以係提出嚟可以傾？如果唔係就休息10分鐘。
Just very like the 26, a devotee is silent. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean it's hard like when it's lunchtime and like out of the temple and it sort of like really irritates me.
What irritates you?
Like the nonsense speaking.
Who's speaking nonsense?
Well, everyone, including me, because it's the topics are never about Krishna.
Oh, during lunch, you mean?
Lunch and outside the temple.
Do you talk about Krishna?
I do.
You do?
Whenever I have a chance, I always ask questions.
Yeah, so that's how you do.
Started, yeah.
You
That's how
start
I
that.
start.
Yeah, it's we should not. You want to say something? Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Right, so lesson 5 now. Here we're trying to understand the devotee's position.
咁呢個係第5課啦，係講明白係奉獻者嘅原本嘅地位。
Okay. So these are some things you all need to understand. Our natural position with Krishna.
咁呢個我哋一定要記住喺度。咁我哋知道我哋Krishna 個原本嗰個地位位置係乜嘢？
These are mostly philosophical.
呢啲係比較哲學性嘅問題。
The first thing is we should know that we are all part and parcel of Krishna.
咁首先我哋認識我哋係 Krishna 不可分割嘅部分。
Okay, so that means whatever qualities Krishna has, we also have.
意思話 Krishna 有咩品質，我哋都要有呢啲品質。
And by practicing bhakti yoga, these qualities will surely manifest.
咁當我哋係收集共愛瑜伽嚟講，呢啲品質肯定慢慢會展示出嚟。
Srila Prabhupada says these qualities are divine qualities.
咁聖跑巴稱呢啲品質嚟講係神聖嘅品質，
They are transcendental.
係超然嘅品質。
Okay. Then the next thing is the best way to develop these qualities is by chanting.
最好嘅方法點樣可以培養到呢啲品質咧？就係透過唱誦。
When we say chanting, we are saying chanting the holy names of Krishna.
當我哋講唱誦嚟講，就係唱誦主嘅聖名。
Okay. Number 3,
第3點，
strictly following rules and regulations.
嚴格跟隨規範守則。
Because it's not easy to become a devotee.
呢個成為奉獻者嚟講唔係容易嘅事。
No? And in general, people become very relaxed when it comes to rules and regulations.
咁當去到規範守則嚟講咧，好多人嚟講都會係鬆懈落嚟，
They will find an excuse.
佢哋會揾好多藉口。
And this is common anywhere in the world, not just only spiritual activities. Anywhere, if they can escape by breaking some rule, they will do it.
咁其實唔單止係靈修方面，咁啊即係世界其他方面嘢都係。當有啲咁嘅守則嚟講，啲人嘗試嚟講係揾啲捐窿捐罅啦，係想去走啲咁嘅法律罅度，唔想跟呢啲嘢。
In the army, they say, as long as you can get away with it, you can break the rules.
咁佢話：如果你有啲嘢嚟講，你可以係避免咗唔使做嚟講咧，咁你就可以係跟隨呢啲咁嘅守則。
And so we can get away. We will only get away from Krishna.
咁當然啦，我哋如果係想避開咧，就只有就會避開到 Krishna。
Yeah. So therefore, we should all follow very strictly the regulated principles.
咁有4項嘅規範守則啦，我哋一定要嚴格咁跟隨。
And the reason is, if you don't, then you will be cheated by people who don't follow anything nicely.
咁如果你唔跟住咁做嚟講咧，就俾一啲係唔跟隨得好嚴謹跟隨人嚟講咧，俾佢哋會呃你。
There were some people who were coming last year, but we can find them this year. And I talked to them, but there is so many tools.
咁我舊年見到佢，今年見唔到。有啲問佢同啲人傾過嚟講，啲人佢講話好多嘢我要跟㗎。
Yeah. So I think we touched on this. In general, when new people come, we should not overwhelm them with rules and regulations.
咁我亦見解呢講就係當一啲新嘅人嚟講咧，唔好講太多啲守則啊、規範守則俾佢哋，咪令到佢哋好困惑。
We should overwhelm them with prasad.
我哋主要嚟講係用咩咧？用係祭祀嚟講，佢3嚟講係迷惑佢哋。
Yeah, and then with kindness, and when you give prasadam, they will start opening their hearts.
咁當我哋係俾祭魚佢哋食緊嘅，佢哋會開始會打開佢哋嘅內心。
And without you telling them, they'll say, no, I want to do this, I want to do that. Then you can say, if you want to do this, you must chant. Yeah.
嗱，跟住啲人會就同你講開始就話我想幫手做呢啲嘢，我想幫手做呢啲嘢咁跟住你同佢講，你想做啲嘢，你首先用唱誦開始啦。
Or let's say you brought some friends, and then some devotee was giving class and saying this rule, that rule, and so on.
咁好似譬如你帶個朋友嚟講聽講課啦，咁阿鳳姐講課嚟講，跟住講到呢樣手嗰樣手好多嘅守則你要跟。
Then you can say, don't worry about those things, I will take care of you.
跟住你講，唔好擔心呢啲嘢住喺度，咁我會慢慢同你係講解釋係照顧你嘅。
Then you tell them there's only one rule for you now, just eat prasad.
咁但係對你嚟講咧，其實你都唔需要理會長到，你就係食祭魚就已經食個沙律已經夠啦。
Yeah.
I'm opposite. I really love rules.
Yeah.
So I have been begging. I feel I've been begging a lot for 3 years. Like, what are you chanting? What's that you doing? What's the and I still don't get it. I only know two, which is Prabhupada and Jai Shri Krishna.
All those mantras.
But I want to know, but I'm not getting.
But that's different.
how
We're
to-
not talking about that.
Yeah, and the rules I love it.
Yeah.
Chanting and all that.
Yeah.
That's how I mean, that's what's attractive to me.
Yes.
It's-
But not everyone is like you, Lin. You're special.
咁阿姐講話，我好中意呢啲咁嘅守則，呢幾個守則喺度，咁佢要話唱誦喺度頂拜喺度，咁佢講話呢啲係另外一回事喺度。咁跟住話我就係受呢啲嘢吸引喺度，咁講你係一個好特別嘅人。
Most people who are 90%, they come, they just want to have a good time.
咁好特別90%嘅人嚟講咧，嚟到呢個希望嚟講一個好嘅過得舒服啲嘅時間。
And the society now, if you look at the younger generations and so on, they don't want rules.
咁我睇翻啲年青嘅一代嚟講咧，佢哋係唔想有咁多呢啲咁嘅掣肘呢咁嘅規律喺度。
Yeah, so we have to see how we can access those living entities and bring them to Krishna.
咁我哋係點樣可以係進入呢啲接近呢啲咁嘅生物啦、生物體喺度嚟嘅，將佢帶到嚟 Krishna 嗰度。
Yeah. So we give them free food, but then there's no such thing as a free food.
咁我哋可以俾啲免費食物俾到咧，咁其實事實上係冇免費嘅食物呢件事。
So eventually they pay back.
咁之後嚟講咧，佢哋會係俾翻轉頭。
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the next thing is we always look at Krishna and his devotees' compassion.
咁我哋要尋求啦，Krishna 同埋佢嘅奉獻者嘅仁慈。
Just like I was explaining, when new people come, we don't want to bombard them with rules and regulations.
咁就好似我講過啦，咁當啲新人嚟講咧，我唔想係太多用啲咁規範守則嚟講係衝擊佢哋、嚇怕佢哋。
But rather with compassion and friendliness and affection.
反正我哋係用啲愛心仁慈呢啲嚟講係同佢哋交往。
Actually, in society, many people don't know, or they don't come from a family that is showing a lot of love and affection.
咁好多人嚟講，或者我哋係都有家庭喺度啦，咁我哋有愛心呢啲咁嘅背景喺度。
So it's a good opportunity for devotees to take over that role, and so we can help them come closer to Krishna.
咁當然奉獻者嚟講，我哋亦都可以扮演咁嘅角色啦。你嚟到呢度嚟講咧，就感覺到好似喺屋企一樣度。我哋希望嚟講係好似屋企嘅成員扮演個角色，係關心佢哋。
Through love and affection, the rules and regulations become easy to access.
咁我哋希望佢係表現我哋對佢嘅愛啦，同埋關心。咁如果咁樣嚟講咧，咁變咗佢哋跟隨啲守則嚟講咧，變咗係易啲嘅。
Easy to practice also.
咁變咗佢會接受喺度啦。咁佢接受咗之後嚟講，就變咗容易收集。
Automatically you say, oh, Prabhu asked me to do, I'll do it.
當佢係對你有信心，你有愛心感動咗佢之後嚟講， 你就寶寶你叫我咁做好啦，咁我就咁做啦。
Or Motherji said I should wear sari, so I should wear.
咁跟住媽知叫我着 sari 好啦，咁我就着 sari 啦。
You feel happy to please them. Yeah.
咁因為你覺得好開心喺度，因為佢對你咁好，你都想去開心喺度取悅翻佢。
If you read Prabhupada's Lilamrita, you see Prabhupada never forced anyone.
咁當你睇泡泡嘅《逍遙甘露》嚟講咧，泡泡係冇強迫任何人做嘢。
He was just affectionate and loving to anyone who came. Yeah.
咁每一個人嚟講，正如泡泡嚟講，泡泡都係表現你啲達氣嘅愛啊，同埋關心佢哋。
So we want to develop these qualities as practicing devotees.
咁當我哋係收集，我哋係呢個收集嘅奉獻者嚟講咧，我哋希望係培養緊呢啲嘅品質。
And so how to develop these qualities?
咁我哋點樣可以培養到呢啲品質咧？
And so we go to Rupa Goswami and he tells us in Act of Instruction, text 3.
咁我哋係從Rupa Goswami 佢嘅教誨的甘露第3節嗰度嚟講咧，係睇到呢啲嘢。
You can look in your books.
咁我哋個手冊入邊都睇到啦。
So the first quality is that we should be very enthusiastic.
咁第一個品質嚟講咧，我哋要保持熱心。
Utsahan, very enthusiastic about the fact that you are in Krishna consciousness. You should be like, wow, I am in Krishna consciousness.
我哋已經好熱情、好熱心喺度啦。咁當我哋諗到我而家 Krishna 知嗰度嚟講，應該好開心、熱心。
Yeah. So you get up in the morning, you think, look, there's like 7 billion people in the world, and I'm one of those who is Krishna conscious, at least trying to be.
咁當你起身時講香港成700幾萬人喺度，我係其中一個嚟講係咁熱心起身嚟講，就想係收集 Krishna 知覺。
And if you think about it, you say, man, how is it possible? I'm so fortunate.
咁你會再咁諗落去嚟講就哇咁多人嚟講都只有我嚟講係即係我而家係收集緊嚟講，我幾咁知係幸運啊！
So then when you take your MRT, NTR, and then you're smiling, everyone looking, why is this guy so happy?
咁當你係跟住係坐地鐵喺度啦，咁坐地鐵嚟講啲人就話：點解呢個人咁開心喺度係咁笑啊？
Yeah, and if you take the same NTR every day, so one day someone will ask you, why are you so happy?
咁我哋日日都係咁坐地鐵啦，咁有可能會有一日嚟講，有咁問你：點解你成日都咁開心？
Yeah, then you can say, because I'm practicing this thing that makes me happy.
咁跟住我收集緊呢樣嘢啦，咁呢樣令到我好開心。
Yeah, then you can say it's yoga and meditation.
跟住佢講啲係瑜伽係冥想。
It is.
咁事實上係就係。
Then you can invite them, come here, Sim Cha Tsui,
跟住去邀請佢嚟啦，尖沙咀。
Yeah, right? And then you invite them for a free lunch.
咁跟住請佢哋嚟食個免費午餐。
It's a world famous cook.
跟住講話有嗰啲個廚師，
Published books.
咁係有出書咁啦。
Yeah, so then you show the book. I eat from this cook.
跟住你俾本書睇，呢個就係呢個出版呢本書個廚師係去煮啊，我哋係食俾啲嘢。
Yeah, and then the second thing is endeavor with confidence. Yeah.
咁第二點嚟講咧就係個信心。
First, we must be enthusiastic.
首先嚟講，我哋要有熱心啦。
And then when you're enthusiastic, you can endeavor with confidence. You know this works.
咁當我哋係充滿熱心嚟講咧，跟住我哋培養到呢個係信心喺度，我哋感覺到嚟講，我哋有信心嚟講，呢啲係做得到。
How do you know it works? You see senior devotees. They're in the movement for 30, 40, 50 years. Why are they hanging around like fools? Because it's working.
咁佢哋嚟講真係發生作用喺度㗎。我哋睇到20年、30年、40年咁，所以奉獻者仍然係留喺度喎。咁點解？因為呢啲係真係有用啊，對佢哋。
Right? They are all intelligent people. They got degrees and so on. Why are they doing this?
咁你見到我哋運動嚟講，有啲人嚟講真係好叻喺度㗎，有學位啊，唔同嘅高嘅崗位上面做嘢喺度啊。咁點解佢哋會留喺度啊？因為呢樣嘢真係有用。
And if you talk to them, they say they're very confident Krishna will take them back to God.
咁當你同佢哋講嚟講咧，都好有信心咁同你講嚟講，呢樣嘢係有用喺度嘅。佢哋有信心，你 Krishna 會將佢帶翻去回歸神手。
And so you associate with them and you develop the same enthusiasm, endeavor, and confidence.
咁當同啲奉獻者聯誼嗰陣嚟講，你都係培養到呢個熱心啦，然後跟住嚟講係亦都係有個信心。
And Prabhupada also mentions, Rupa Goswami mentions, you have to be patient for the result.
咁正泡波啦，同埋 Rupa Goswami 亦都提到嚟講，我哋一定要有耐心。
And Prabhupada gives the example of when a lady gets married, she cannot tell her husband, I want a child tomorrow.
咁就泡波舉一個例子，就好似一個女士，你個女仔結婚嚟講，佢唔可以同個丈夫嚟講，我要聽日即刻有個 BB。
No, he will say, wait 10 months.
咁佢講話一定要經過10月懷胎呢個時間。
So we are patient also. We know if we do this, Krishna will eventually bless us.
咁我都有耐心啦。咁我哋明白到Krishna 最後嚟講，最終嚟講會係俾祝福我哋。
So Prabhupada used to say, don't desire but deserve.
咁包括嚟講就係話唔好話渴望佢哋係要我哋有資格能夠得到一樣嘢，我哋先咁樣諗。
So by doing this devotional practices very happily, then Krishna will say, this person, maybe I should take them back this lifetime.
咁當我哋好開心咁收集 Krishna 知覺嚟講咧，咁 Krishna 或者睇到之後，Krishna 講哦呢個人嚟講，或者我呢一生就可以將佢帶歸神，帶翻去神手。
And whenever you have free time, then you do the regulatory principles, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all the 9 processes. One of them you do.
咁當我哋有時間嚟講，我哋做嗰9項嘅奉獻服務啦，或者全部或者其中某一項。
And, you know, don't associate too much with non-devotees.
同啲遠離呢個非奉獻者，唔好同佢哋聯誼咁多。
Only as much as needed.
因為只係同佢哋聯誼係有咁嘅需要先同佢哋聯誼。
You work with them, that's all. You don't need to live with them.
咁你係冇錯上班或者工作同佢哋一齊喺度，但係你唔係同佢哋一齊生活啊嘛。
You can be kind to them, you can help them, but you don't have to associate with them.
你可以係對佢哋好好啦，或者可以係幫佢哋，但係唔需要同佢哋係太親密咁聯誼。
Yeah. So therefore, we abandon those kind of
所以
association.
我哋係放棄呢啲嘅聯誼。
For example, at the end of Friday, everyone wants to go for a happy hour.
咁好似每個星期五放工嚟嘅，大家都希望有個快樂嘅時光。
So you say you also have happy hour at Tsim Sha Tsui.
咁你可以同佢講，我都有歡樂時光，我哋歡樂時光就喺尖沙咀。
So like that, you always say, and they will think, what is that Tsim Sha Tsui?
咁當你成日講尖沙咀嚟講，啲人講究竟咩尖沙咀啊？點解成日講尖沙咀？
Yeah. So then you put outside the door happy hour.
跟住我哋就喺門口嗰度掛住個歡樂時光。
Yeah. Happy hour. Yeah. Okay. And then finally, in your own free time also with devotees, you try to understand what our previous acharyas did, you know, how they became very strict and very good followers of Krishna. Yeah.
咁跟住我哋再嚟咧，就要認識我哋先前嘅導師啦，認識佢哋多點樣嚟講係咁嚴格係跟隨Krishna 嘅教導，成為 Krishna 嘅奉獻者。
And we follow their instructions.
咁我哋係跟隨佢哋嘅訓示去做。
Right? There's like Prabhupada, he was successful. So then Prabhupada is telling us what we can do to become successful.
咁就好似花嚟講啦，佢係十分之成功啦。咁佢都係講俾我哋知嚟講，點樣我哋可以做，亦都可以係變得好似佢咁成功。
I have a question. For abandoning the association of non-devotees, when your family is full of non-devotees, how do you abandon them?
No, means you don't really spend too much time with them. You know, you give time, you show affection, but you don't live like them.
咁佢講到譬如你講到話要遠離啲非奉獻者，咁好似我屋企人嚟講，好多都唔係奉獻者，咁我應該點？咁我都講就話你係俾啲時間你哋喺度，但係唔好太多時間嚟花喺佢哋身上嗰度，亦都係可以對佢哋好啲，或者係仁慈啲，但係唔係好似佢哋咁樣過佢哋嘅生活。
Maybe when you go visit them, you cook for them.
或者你去探佢哋嗰時講，或者你煮
So you
嘢俾佢
associate
哋，
that way. Yeah.
咁你以咁嘅形式同佢哋去聯誼。
Yeah. And then if they want to watch movie, you take out Prabhupada.
咁你想睇佢哋嗰時，跟住你係攞我哋拍嗰個紀錄片俾佢睇。
No, I mean, I'm just saying. Maybe some movies you can watch together with them so that they don't feel burnt out with you. You have to balance it.
咁你自己要做個平衡喺度啦。咁或者有啲戲 你覺得係可以睇嘅，你講你同佢哋一齊喺度，咁你自己做呢個平衡。
Maybe you say I want to watch Disney movie or something like that.
Mhm.
Because most movies are ridiculous. Yeah.
因為好多片嚟講好荒謬喺度喎，咁或者有啲片嚟講你啱睇。
Yeah, from Bollywood to Hollywood, it's all nonsense.
咁佢講係印度嘅 Bollywood 到荷里活嚟講咧，好多啲戲垃圾嚟嘅。
So, yeah, but if they insist on wanting to watch, you say, well, when you finish watching, I'll come and see you guys. Yeah. You do your other things. You can be in the same home. You can go and chant. Say, how long is the movie? 2 hours. Great. Then you go.
咁或者佢哋如果堅持睇嚟講，咁好啦，咁你或者你睇啦，咁套戲有幾長喺度，咁咪2個鐘頭，好啦，咁2個鐘頭之後我先再翻嚟揾你哋，咁你仲嗰2個鐘頭你做你自己嘅嘢，唱做咁樣。
And if they push you and say, why you have to always chant? You say, because I made the promise.
咁
To
如果佢哋
Krishna.
問你講，佢哋問你，點解你成日都揸住個念珠袋唱做嗰度啊？咁你就同佢哋講啦，我係答應咗嗰度，我做嗰個諾言嘅誓言喺度，我要唱做嗰度。
That's you can also say, just like I will support whatever you endeavor, you should also think in the same way and support me because this is what I really want to do. Yeah.
咁就好似話齋，你哋做嘅嘢，我都好贊成支持你哋做嗰度咯。咁呢樣嘢嚟講，我都係好想做嗰度。咁希望你都係支持我、贊成我，即係做我而家自己中意做嘅嘢。
Yeah. But you do not preach to them.
但係唔好向我哋有傳教，
Don't preach.
Let that
唔
go
好
like
同
that.
Yes, yeah. You let them do what they want. Eventually, if they are people with good qualities, they will want to know why you are doing it and what's so special.
咁如果你唔需要同佢哋講太多度，咁如果佢哋真係一個好嘅品質嘅人嚟講咧，咁佢哋會留意到啦，會對你做嘅有興趣，跟住會問你究竟你做啲乜嘢啊？你係點解會咁做？
You can say, I'm trying to develop all these godly qualities. So this is one of the best ways to do.
咁所以你睇到我哋就係要培養啲好神聖嘅品質喺度，就係希望我哋睇到啲咁嘅神聖品質嘅喺我哋身上。
And if they say, does that mean we are not godly enough?
唔通我哋真係諗緊，我哋而家仲未夠呢個神聖嘅品質，仲未夠。
Then you can say, no, but I lack those qualities. So I am trying to develop them.
跟住我同佢解釋嚟講，係啊，我哋因為而家仲未缺乏呢啲咁嘅神聖嘅品質，仲未夠，咁所以我哋希望透過呢啲修習嚟講，咁咪培養到啲神聖嘅品質。
You are already blessed. You have so many nice qualities, but I don't have.
跟住你就
I want to develop
咁可以同嗰啲人講到，係啊，你哋有好嘅品質喺度啊，你哋身上有好嘅品質，但係我仲未有喺度，所以我希望透過啲修習嚟講，培養我呢個好嘅品質。
And after doing all that and they're still very nasty and so on, then there must be time to
咁當你做晒所有啲嘢嗰陣時嚟講咧，仍然佢哋講都係你啲係即係唔係咁高興嘅，呢個即係做啲好嘅手段喺度對你嗰陣時咧，咁你就要開始要考慮要切斷。
Yeah, because eventually you have to come and ask yourself, who do I want, Krishna or my family?
咁最後嚟講，你都要
Asura or Krishna?
咁你要做個就衡量度啦。咁究竟我要 Krishna， 一係要一啲係啲安品性嘅人，即係家庭。
As a child, maybe if I'm a son or a daughter, it's easier to understand this, but if you have a wife or a husband, how do you maintain that?
It's the same way.
It's the same way.
Yeah. It's just that you don't become inimical to them. I think oftentimes,
咁講到話，如果對你自己個人嚟講係易啲，譬如有家庭有太太仔你嚟講係比較難啲喺度。咁好嚟講唔係都係咁樣收集喺度。首先嚟講，你唔好對佢哋有敵意先。
oftentimes devotees, when they take up the process, instead of negotiating at the table, we become antagonistic. And then we want to defeat them in philosophy. We want to show I'm better than you. So those things are not favorable.
咁嗰時奉獻者嚟講咧，同啲屋企人嚟講，佢唔係以一個談判嘅一個形式嚟講，係同啲屋企人講，反而以一個係好不可理喻嘅方法，就係話嘗試嚟講想去講服嗰啲屋企人，用哲學方面嚟講係講贏佢哋屋企人喺度，佢哋接受咁樣喺度，其實唔係咁好啊。
Yeah. Instead of always fighting, you find common grounds where you don't need to fight.
咁你其實揾到個大家共同可以接受嘅嗰一點嚟講咧，佢係唔需要咁樣係透過拗交或者爭論嚟講係做到。
Yeah.
Yeah, just finish what you want to say.
No, go on.
Well, I just wanted to share.
Go on, yeah.
I find that most of the times when family members are not supportive or even inimical, it comes down to a basic instinct of survival. They are not really against our practice of Krishna consciousness. They just want to know, you becoming a devotee, how is this going to affect me?
Mm.
How is it going to affect my relationship with you? How do I need to change things now because you become a devotee? Ultimately, everyone is just focused on themselves.
Yes.
So they just want to know how is this going to affect me. So if we can show them that I'm becoming a devotee, it doesn't mean that, I've grown blue horns and they've got, green skin now, something like this. But, I'm practicing this. I'm still your whatever daughter, sister,
Yeah,
wife,
that-
mother, like this.
Yeah, that assurance was.
The assurance, they're just looking for the reassurance that they don't have to, suddenly now change and give up things because they're not ready for it.
No.
So if
So
we
therefore you don't change.
yes, as we say, we don't preach to
No,
them.
you don't. preach.
Anyway, family members are the most difficult to preach
Right,
to convince.
咁啱先講到個例子，就譬如同屋企人相處嚟講，其實屋企人就最難就喺傳教嗰度。咁其實佢哋擔心嚟講咧，其實擔心嘅嘢就係話驚你做咗奉者之後嚟講啊，對佢方面嚟講有啲咩影響喺度，譬如係之間嘅關係喺度啊，仲係咪佢個女喺度啊？即係唔係話擔心係其他嘢，擔心你佢自己本身嚟講，會唔會有咩同你之間有咩改變，或者有啲咩改變而係適應你喺度？你係關心係呢啲嘢，主要嚟講係關心佢哋自己比較多啲。
Srila Prabhupada, okay, we'll continue.
好，我哋繼續。
Srila Prabhupada gives us a checklist in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna goes through these 20 qualities, I believe. Yeah.
咁聖包包嚟講咧，俾一個表我哋咧，我哋可以檢查得到嘅，就喺《寶家法歌》第3章第8至24節有列出第20個品質嘅。
So, I would like you all to go back and look at it. And one of the things he says, the dukkha dosha anudarshan. That means one should understand that life itself, birth, death, old age, and disease will show us the evil of life.
咁方法嚟講咁大家可以翻去睇啦，睇翻呢啲呢個詩詞喺度。咁有啲講到嚟講咧，咁提到嚟講就係話生老病死就係生命一個邪惡嘅一面。
Krishna says that, and Prabhupada highlights.
咁 Krishna 咁講呢個拋花將佢強調呢樣講出嚟。
And so someone reading it will think, why is birth evil?
咁有啲人會諗住我啲出生嚟講係屬於係邪惡係嘛唔好咯。
Because when we take birth, we forget Krishna.
點解咧？因為當我哋出生咧，我哋出生之後就會忘記 Krishna。
And if you die without knowing Krishna, that is also all this material existence is evil in that sense.
咁當我哋譬如死亡之後嚟講，亦都係忘記 Krishna 嚟講咧，咁從咁樣嚟睇咧，所以我哋話呢啲係邪惡嘅。
So Krishna says in this verses, he says, anything else outside these 20 things, I consider ignorance.
咁Krishna 呢個詩節講啦，除咗呢20項嘅品質之外，喺呢20項品質以外嚟講咧，我稱之為叫做無知愚昧。
So knowledge consists of all these things within verses 8 to 20.
咁知識嚟講咧，就係包括第八個詩節到20個詩節入邊所講嘅嘢。
Okay, so you should go back and read that just to become familiar with things there.
咁我哋為咗可以熟悉啦，咁我哋最要翻去再讀一讀呢個詩節。
Yeah, and our process is actually very simple and straightforward.
咁事實上我哋呢個收集嘅程序嚟講係簡單咧，亦都係直接，
Very simple.
好簡單。
We just want you to chant, take prasadam.
咁就係唱誦啦，同埋食祭魚啦。
Yeah, it's not complicated. Yeah,
一啲都唔複雜嘅，
but it's very profound. Yeah,
但係入邊背後哋嘅嘢係好深嘅。
because behind that simple life is Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, Acharyas, so many personalities who guide us.
因為喺背後嚟講咧，好多啲上包學波啲先前嘅靈性導師啊，佢哋係指引緊我哋係跟住點做。
It's straightforward because either you do it or you don't do it. That's
因為好直接嘅，一係你就做，一係就唔做，
yeah. There's nothing confusing about it.
唔會係令到你哋咁樣迷惑，啲點做。
Okay. And then the last one,
最後一項
just to reiterate, because I already explained this, we are part and parcel of Krishna. So just as Krishna is divine, we are also divine.
咁就好似我先前講過啦，我哋係 Krishna 嘅不可分嘅部分。咁 Krishna 亦都係神聖嘅，咁我哋係身為一部分，所以我亦都係神聖。
And we will develop those qualities as we practice serious.
如果我哋認真咁收集嚟講，我哋會培養到呢啲咁嘅品質，就好似我先前講過。
Okay. Any comments before we go to the next?
我哋未進入下一個題目嚟講，有冇啲咩評論咧？
All right. Yes.
Number 6, is it repeat chapter 12?
Yes.
Eight,
8, oh. Huh? 12, right? Yeah, it should be 12. We will change that.
咁第六點嚟講，係咪應該係第13章第8至12節嗰度係啊？可
Yeah,
能
it's 8 to 12, but there's 20 qualities, so
8至12節20個品質，
typo.
我打錯咗。
All right. Now, exciting dress of a Vaishnava.
而家最係興奮討論嘅一點啊，就係奉獻者嘅衣着。
This is like a big deal in America and so on.
咁喺美國嚟講呢，一件好大嘅事嚟嘅。
Because they don't, many of the devotees don't feel that you have to wear like this. Yeah.
因為好多奉者嚟講咧，覺得嚟講你唔需要着成咁。
And they have their reasons. Yeah.
咁當然佢有佢哋嘅原因啦。
But it's not a problem in Asia.
咁喺亞洲嚟講咧，係唔係一個咩問題？
Because Asians, they don't mind rules and regulations.
咁喺亞洲人嚟講咧，佢係
Yeah.
介意啲嘅規範守則。
I find that the Westerners, especially Americans, they love to break the rules.
咁但係我記得覺得咧，美國人嚟講就好中意係唔守規矩嘅。
Okay, so there are reasons for dressing a Vaishnava attire. And if you look at your book on page 13,
我哋嘅書第13頁嚟講咧，就講到嚟講奉獻者嘅衣着點解要咁樣着衣着嘅。
yeah. So there in Chaitanya Charitamrita Mandir, you can see Mahaprabhu said, a first class Vaishnava is he whose very presence makes others chant the holy name of Krishna.
咁喺《明日左灘耶經》中篇消時光嚟講，第16章第34節講，主要坦耶講嘅第一流嘅奉獻者嘅愛聖雅嚟講就係嗰種僅臨在入邊能夠讓其他人嚟講係唱頌 Krishna 聖名嘅嘢。
So if you go out on Harinam and you're always dressed in a sari, dhoti and so on with tilak, so people will identify you as Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So next time they see anyone with tilak, they'll say Hare Krishna.
咁好似譬如我哋出去 high lam 嚟講啦，咁如果我哋着 sari 啊着 dhoti，咁又搽上 T 落嚟講咧，咁我出到嚟講咧，啲人就知道我哋係 Hare Krishna。咁每一次見到我哋講，哦，你就係 Hare Krishna 呢人。
But obviously some devotees don't like to wear dhotis, especially Indian men.
咁有啲奉者嚟講係唔中意着 dhoti 嗰度，咁尤其是有啲印度人。
Yeah, they like to wear the pants usually. So
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
that's fine. At least they can wear kurta, you know.
咁佢哋會係中意着褲啦，咁冇問題。咁最少嚟講，佢着翻上身嘅着翻件衫 kurta 啦。
But the argument is kurta is not Vaishnava.
咁但係其實 kurta 嚟講唔係代表你就係愛是冷眼。
Kurta, according to many research devotees, they say it comes from the Moguls and the Muslims.
咁有好多奉者做咗一個研究調查嚟講咧，其實 kurta 嚟講咧係一個蒙古王朝嗰時一啲回教徒啊嘅打扮衣着嚟嘅。
But you know, we follow what Prabhupada wore. That's all. Yeah.
咁我哋係跟隨泡比較多。
And so therefore, we shouldn't feel so bad about. You will find when you travel in other places, especially Europe and America, especially, they feel that you can wear anything As long as you follow, it's okay. Which is true. Which is true.
咁當你係譬如去唔同嘅地方嚟講，咁好似歐洲、美國，咁特別係美國啦，咁佢哋會係有一個感覺就係話，只要你跟隨就得㗎啦，咁你咩嘅衣着打扮係唔緊要嘅，咁可以咁樣講係啱嘅。
But the thing is, if you wear normal Kali clothes, then there's a tendency for you to do nonsense also.
咁呢個有一個情況就係，當你係着普通嘅一啲唔係奉獻者嘅衣服嗰時嚟講咧，變咗你有一個意識之後嚟講咧，我可以做乜嘢都得。
Right? You can just wipe the tilak and go to a movie.
或者我哋即刻將我哋頭上嘅出嚟咁啊擦走，你講真我真係睇戲，
or not even a movie, go into a casino, you know.
或者唔一定係睇，或者走去賭場咯。
Or in the middle of the street say bad things or whatever, right? You do not know who's a devotee in that case, right? Yeah.
咁好似譬如當如果係咁樣嚟講咧，咁好多人你講啲唔好嘢啊，啲玩笑嚟講笑，你根本你分唔到究竟邊啲係奉獻者，邊啲唔係奉獻。
So in a sense, if you wear devotional clothing, you are more conscious that you are a devotee.
咁當你係打扮或者奉獻者嘅外打服裝時嚟講咧，你嘅意識之覺嚟講，馬上提醒你講，我係一個奉獻者。
Therefore, there's a less tendency for you to break principles.
咁變咗係少啲機會嚟講，你會係跟隨啲雞把手啫。
Yeah. Anything over there?
有冇啲咩想加上去咧？大家
Yeah.
I just want to say that I 110% agree with them.
Yeah.
It's just not only the fact that it reminds us to follow the principles properly, but just our general behavior in a way they're reminded that we're carrying the name of ISKCON and Prabhupada and representing, so we have to behave properly. It's not even a conscious thought, it just comes.
Yes.
So really very helpful to be dressed in.
咁拉叔係100%係贊成嘅，因為當你咁有衣着打扮時嚟講咧，馬上你會係言行方面啊、講嘅方面嚟講咧，你都會提醒你自己呢個奉獻者，你係代表緊 ISKCON，代表係聖巴學班度，變咗係呢個係好有幫助喺度。
And if you wear very nicely, devotion, iron and all nicely, you look actually very attractive.
咁事實上係嘅，如果你件衫你燙得好齊整嚟講，你着上身嚟講咧，咁啲人睇上嚟講係真係好吸引。
If you wear devotional clothing, everyone will look at you.
咁當你係着奉獻者嘅衫嚟講咧，發覺身邊好多人都會係望住你。
If you wear ordinary clothes, who will give a second?
咁如果你係着普通嘅衫嚟講，邊個會係再望你嘅？
I want to share one very interesting incident. I tried to join Mangala Aarti on Saturday. So I was coming and I wear Vaishnava dress. So there are many pubs and there were some drunkards having parties around. And there was some Indian men also. So one drunken man was drinking and he was very drunk. And I was just passing through the road and he is walking from very distance and he told me, Panditji, Jai Shri Ram. I replied, Jai Shri Ram. That is the impact of attire than what you can imagine.
咁寶寶就講話佢上次譬如朝頭早上嚟講係上翻格拉鐵嗰度啦，咁着啲奉獻者外士下嘅衫度，咁佢經過，因為我哋係樓下嗰旁邊嘅好多酒吧度嘅，咁啲人即係飲得好醉喺度，咁有個印度人飲得好醉嗰陣，見到佢咁樣經過時嚟講，即係 Jai Ram 嗰度，佢跟住係嗰度唱喺度。
Sorry, can I just add?
Yeah, sure.
Also, yeah, that is very nice to hear, and it's private. Quite often we see this thing. Also, I feel just personally, as a someone in a woman's body, when I dress like this, others, especially men, are more
Respectful.
and they relate to me, mother, which is what Prabhupada wanted us to see women as mothers. So it's good for us, it's helpful for the members of the opposite sex also to see
you as a mother.
Yeah.
So, but if I dress in party clothes, it's different.
That is-
Very subtle, but
Yeah.
you can perceive.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yes.
can perceive it's different.
Yeah.
So
Automatically they think they can take advantage.
yeah, I just see you as
Yeah.
okay, female, like
Yeah,
that. But
yes.
sari, tiga, every head covered, everything's like, oh, mother, like it's very helpful actually.
Yeah.
我媽姐提咗點講就係當你着鳳姐衣服sorry 同埋着普通衫係唔同嗰度，啲人會有一個特別嘅尊敬喺度，會稱呼你為叫做係媽都知喺度。咁呢個其實拋翻上我哋係咁樣嘅。咁因為當你係着普通嘅衣服嗰時嚟講，啲人唔會有咁嘅對你咁樣一個尊重或者稱呼，反而諗你講你就係普通一個女性嗰度啊，甚至乎係想打你壞主意喺度諗你你嗰個女仔我點樣攞你着數啊，會咁樣諗。
According to Puranas, anyone who sees a Vaishnava, they get purified.
咁根據《往世書》講咧，每一個人嚟講，見到鳳姐嚟講，都可以得到淨化。
Therefore, it's good to wear devotional clothes.
所以如果係咁嚟講，係着奉獻嘅愛聖雅嘅服裝嚟講係最好。
One more thing I want to share, and what I have observed that whenever I wear the Vaishnava clothes and somebody who knows something about the ISKCON, they give a very nice smile. Something like that.
咁有啲我都留意到喺度嘅，譬如當我係着奉獻者嘅服裝行街時嚟講，而有啲人嚟講可能係認識 ISKCON 或者聽過啲關於 ISKCON 嘅嘢嚟講，每次見到我之後嚟講，又會微笑喺度望一望我。
Yeah.
So clothes is transferring happiness.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we wear it?
Yes, exactly.
咁佢話呢啲衫嚟講係令到傳遞上一種嘅信息嚟講，令到人哋喜悅喺度嘅。咁點解我哋唔着咧？
Okay. Thank you for your contribution and sharing.
多謝你
No, all of it.
你哋所提出嘅嘢都係好好。
Next one is Vaishnava attire is always simple and chaste.
咁第二點嚟講就係鳳姐成日提倡嘅就係簡單啦，同埋係精潔嘅。
Generally, when we wear Vaishnava attires, we don't have extra stuff, we don't have like you don't need to wear perfumes, strong perfume, when you go workplaces. I remember working colleagues would be like, you can't breathe when you're next to them.
咁我就簡單意思嚟講就係俾你着鳳姐衣服嚟講，唔需要其他嘅添加嘅嘢喺度，譬如啲人又係會噴香水啊，或者其他嘢。咁我記得嗰時我讀書嗰時嚟講咧，話坐喺隔離嘅同學用好重嘅香水嚟講咧，你覺得好難聞、好難頂喺度。
And then some of them put so much makeup and thick lipstick, and you're like, who are you talking to?
都有啲人嚟講或者係化妝畫得好濃啦，或者搽啲口唇搽得好紅喺度啦。咁當你同佢講嚟講，究竟你係邊一個啊？你唔認得出。
Yeah. So Vaishnava attire is very simple, and it's who you are, and people can relate to you. Okay, you're normal actually.
咁鳳姐嚟講好簡單啦，咁就係表現出你真正嘅係你自己。咁跟住嚟講，啲人會同你係交往啊、溝通啊。
Clothing wise, they may think you're weird, but once you talk and so they'll say, "Oh, these people are the same like me."
咁當你好似嚟咁傾嗰陣時講咧，發表嚟講啲人講，啲人嚟講樣冇咩嘢都好似同我差唔多。
Yes.
Talking about makeup, and they're saying that Attila is the best makeup.
Very nice.
咁佢唔單止講就話講開話叫化妝嚟講，咁其實我哋 T 落嚟講一個好好嘅化妝品嚟喺度，咁樣嘅。
Yeah.
咁講係好好嘅。
Yeah. The Christians don't think so. The Christians don't think so.
但係啲基督教徒唔係咁樣。
Yeah, because they say the mark of the devil.
但係佢哋話呢啲嚟講係咩咧？係啲魔鬼嘅一個標記嚟嘅，係。
And on one side, my friend and they're Christian, and they come for lunch. And then I was sitting there, and then opposite he was staying facing a devotee with Chila. And I said, I want to change. I want to change because I don't want to look at that person.
Yeah.
Because he's Christian.
Yes.
佢話我試過咁嘅經驗喺度，就一次係食飯喺度啦，咁有個鳳姐去搽 T 落喺度，咁有基督教徒見到之後跟住朋友嚟，咁跟住見到 佢話我唔想同佢坐對面嗰度，我唔想見到佢咁嘅個搽咗天落去啊等等。佢話佢哋係
But
係
actually, you know, in the Puranas, anyone sees anyone with tilak, they get actually liberated.
咁喺我哋先講，當啲人咁樣見到你講，其實得到解決，
So it's very powerful.
係好有力量。
Yeah. Right. You know, even with simple and chaste, the Prabhus, they now have elastic dhotis. They make it even more simple.
咁我講得簡單嚟講，甚至乎而家啲刀田嚟講已經好似係橡筋嘅啦，就咁去休上去就可以着。
I heard also sari. Just last week, my friends like, oh, why don't you get an elastic sari?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
咁就係 sorry 而家啲係有一啲係啲橡筋嘅、一啲彈性嘅一啲咁嘅 sorry，
ready-made
Different.
Ready-made saris. Yeah.
即係現成嘅做好咁唔
So
使，
difficult to wrap around. You know?
唔需要有啲係咁綁來綁去嗰度，唔需要咁樣。
Yeah. Anyway, so it's the whole thing is it's chaste. It doesn't
Yes.
reveal your body.
咁其實嚟講就係帶到呢個問題，就係要忠貞有貞潔啦，即係唔想係暴露我哋嘅身體。
Yeah. It's very conservative actually.
咁其實呢個係好保守一個好保護性嘅一個諗法嚟。
Whereas the modern dressing is nothing you wear, the less you wear, the more attractive.
而係現今嘅世代嚟講咧，反而係相反咧。你哋嘅睇法嚟講就係你越着得少嚟講咧，越吸引。
It's just like the story, the emperor's clothing, right?
就好似我哋個國王的新衣，
Everyone is laughing at that.
咁每一個人都係笑緊個國王。
Yeah. Okay. Don't wear luxuriously or lavishly.
唔好穿戴得係太過奢華昂貴嘅嘢，
You don't have to show off that you're wealthy.
唔需要嚟講係展示啊，有人哋話俾你知，你自己係富有嘅。
You know, if you do, you're only going to attract the wrong type of people.
如果當你咁做嚟講，你只會係吸引一啲係唔應該或者一啲係錯誤嘅人。
Obviously, during weddings and so on, people like to show off, and but okay, yeah.
咁譬如當結婚嗰度嚟講，啲人或者係演嘢喺度啊，攞呢啲嘢會係戴上手俾人睇嘅。
Right? So then you take a cab or something, otherwise if you're taking an NTR, people are watching you and see how they rob you.
咁最好嚟講，你係打的啦，坐車喺度，坐私家車喺度。如果你坐地鐵嚟講，啲人見到你就會打你主意喺度。
Yeah. Right? It's a very simple rule.
呢係簡單嘅守則。
Avoid clothing that are made from animal products. I mean, of course, wool and some others we are not talking about this. We're talking about leather, and there are other animal products not to wear.
咁
Yeah.
我哋係唔用一啲動物製成嘅一啲衣飾啊。咁當然羊毛嗰啲又唔算啦。咁我哋通常講係啲皮製嗰啲嘢。
Okay. And in the notes also you see, unless unavoidable in one's service or for health reasons, one should refrain from wearing leather shoes, belts, etc.
咁譬如係除非你係特別啲原因嚟講，避免唔到嘅做一奉獻服務啦。如果唔係，我哋應該係避免唔好係用皮帶啊，或者係皮鞋呢啲嘢嘅。
Yeah. And nowadays there are more options, vegan leather and so on. And in the early days they had lots of problems.
咁喺而家嚟講，我多啲選擇喺度啦，揀咗一啲即係人造皮喺度啊，嗰啲之類喺度係代替喺度。喺嗰陣時舊時嚟講係冇咁多呢啲選擇。
Okay. Yeah. Make sure you wear kantipimala.
咁要肯定嚟講係戴連珠頸嘅連珠咯。
Yeah. Of course, like I remember in some places they tell you cannot have anything in your neck.
咁我記得好似有啲地方嚟講，你話你唔可以條頸嗰度唔可以掛啲嘢。
Yeah. I can't remember for security or it becomes a danger. It can catch something in some factory or something. When you go visit, they tell you take out whatever you're wearing, necklace and so on.
咁為咗係啲係安
So if
全。
your job is in that kind of situation, then you cannot wear.
咁好似譬如有啲工廠嚟講咧，咁為咗安全嘅問題嚟講，可能唔俾你戴，因為驚傷害到你嗰度。咁嘅情況嚟講，你戴唔到嘅冇用。
And then in your notes, there is a sentence saying persons who are not following basic principles like chanting and foreign should not wear kantika. That's a general rule. But if you find people really want to wear, let them wear. Don't become too crazy, hyper.
咁我哋喺個手冊入邊嗰度提到就係話一般嚟講就係一啲人如果冇跟隨嘅規範守則嚟講咧，就唔應該戴個呢個獨立一時嘅項鏈喺度嘅。咁但係如果佢哋係想戴嚟講，咁就俾佢戴喺度啦。咁呢個唔係話應該特別嘅。
Okay. And then,
I
yeah,
have a question.
yeah.
When we wear Kantimala, I see some devotees have 2 strings or 3 or a single one. Which one is more appropriate to be wearing as a Vaishnava?
As a Vaishnava, you can wear any number. But in ISKCON, I think in Gaudiya Vaishnavas, 3 to signify that you're initiated. 2 means you are aspiring, 1 means just fashion.
咁啊，即係佢話，譬如我哋個頸鏈嚟講，究竟係1圈、2圈或者3圈喺度咁樣，究竟我哋應該點樣度？譬如咁回覆嚟講就係話其實幾多圈你都可以係擺喺度嘅，但係喺個外省傳統嚟講咧，3圈嚟講就代表你啟迪咗喺度嘅，2圈嚟講代表你已經渴望想係收集呢方面，而1圈嚟講就係啲潮流喺度啊，咁你所以你帶1個圈。
Like in some places, like in some immigration, you go, they don't want to see you this. Like in Singapore, I don't know about Hong Kong. If they see you wearing the country mala, they say you can't come into the country. So then you either hide it with a proper t-shirt or whatever, or you take it out and put it in your pocket, and after customs you put it back.
咁有啲地方嚟講就係唔想中意見到你戴呢啲咁嘅都市嘅紀念，好似譬如講新加坡嚟講咧，如果見到你戴嚟講就唔俾你入境。咁香港我唔知喺度啦，咁所以逢親啲地方嚟講，我哋會嘗試攞啲衫啊、啲 T-shirt 嚟講去遮住，又或者除低落嚟擺埋一邊，擺埋個袋度。咁跟住過咗關之後，過咗個海關之後嚟講先入咗境之後先再戴翻上。
Yeah, I think one time Chandrasekhar Prabhu came to Singapore with a shaved head, big cigar, when he walked in and they said turn around. Yeah.
咁好似我記得有一次係爭色嘅係剃頭啊，跟住又戴又 sticker 喺度，跟住新加坡，跟住海關見到之後，跟住寄翻轉頭。
All right, and then finally, what to do? See, this is the problem with this. Hang on a sec. Let me. It's not able to. Anyway, the last one is where traditional, where possible.
咁最後一點嚟講就係話，盡可能嚟講係着啲傳統啲嘅衣服啊。
Yeah, got it. Where traditional, where possible. Yeah. And the thing is, generally men don't like to wear dhoti, so women have easier access to Krishna consciousness than men.
咁佢話通常嚟講，女性嚟講會係着 sari 多過男士着 dhoti 喺度，因為喺 Krishna 之外嚟講，發覺係女性比較容易接受得到係着 sari。
Yeah. For some reason, I think they don't like to wear dhoti.
咁某啲原因咧，所以佢哋係唔中意着 dhoti 嘅。
Especially Indian men, they like to wear pants. Yeah, you see, right? When they come, Sunday bro, you see most of the ladies will be all wearing saris mostly.
咁你可以留意下喺度啦，譬如印度人啦，好多嚟講都係就係着長褲，咁反而女性嚟講咧，大多數全部都係着 sari。
Yeah. But if they don't like to wear dhoti or kurta or sari, then they should wear as conservative or as possible. Yeah.
咁如果佢哋係唔着 sari 都點解？起碼佢着得比較莊重啲啦，比較着得保守啲嘅應該。
Okay. So now if you look at page 14, there's a pastime Satsuru Maharaj is describing Srila Prabhupada in New York.
咁你睇落去個筆記入邊講啦，咁有一個係 Sasuma 住講咧，係寫翻泡泡嘅消時光。
Okay. Anyway, I'll read. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada was dressed appropriately for a resident of Vrindavan. He wore kantimala, neck beads, and a simple cotton dhoti, and carried japamala, chanting beads, and an old chadar or shawl. His complexion was golden, his head shaven, shika in the back, his forehead decorated with a whitish Vaishnava tilak. He wore pointed white slippers, not uncommon for sadhus in India. But who in New York had ever seen or dreamed of anyone appearing like this Vaishnava? He was possibly the first Vaishnava sannyasi to arrive in New York with uncompromised appearance. Of course, New Yorkers have an expertise in not giving much attention to any kind of strange new arrival.
咁算泡泡或者身，算到泡泡身着符合棉打文居民嘅裝束，他戴着圖拉士嘅項鏈，簡樸嘅棉兜頭，拿住念珠袋，圍着舊披肩。他金黃剃髮和在後面留着 Sika， 他額頭畫着白色嘅愛斯蘭亞提羅，他穿着白色嘅尖頂鞋，這是印度人聖人嘅常見嘅鞋子，但是在紐約誰曾見過，甚至夢見過嘅這樣嘅愛斯蘭亞？他可能是第一位在形象上毫無妥協地來到紐約的愛斯蘭亞托布真。當然，紐約嘅人早已對各種外來人嘅奇裝異服見怪不怪。
So the next one is a pastime Srila Prabhupada told his disciples.
咁跟住嚟講嗰個就係泡泡嘅一個同佢嘅門徒講嘅一段逍遙時光。
I'll read. There was once a factory in India where all the workers were mostly Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas had freedom, therefore, to wear their Vaishnava tilak to work, and they also displayed other Vaishnava paraphernalia. But after some time, the factory went into new management, and then the proprietor was a Muslim. On taking over the business, the Muslim owner declared that he would not allow the workers to come to work anymore wearing Vaishnava tilak. Most of the workers obeyed, and on the given date announced by the owner, they appeared at the factory without their tilak. One employee, however, thought that he would take his chances and depend on Krishna. So he went to work wearing very clear white Vaishnava tilak. After seeing all the workers assembled, the new Muslim proprietor said, "This one devotee who has worn Vaishnava tilak is very courageous. He may be permitted to continue wearing tilak to work, but all others are forbidden to wear it."
咁喺印度曾經有一間工廠，大多數嘅工人咧都係愛斯蘭亞喺度。咁愛斯蘭亞嚟講有嘅自由啦，可以頭上嘅 T 落翻工。咁亦都有其他嘅外散嘅用品咧，佢哋帶埋一齊喺度。但過一段時間嚟講，呢間工廠嚟講咧，如果新嘅管理層接手啊，咁呢個老闆嚟講係個 Muslim 啦。咁接慣咗呢間生意之後嚟講，個老闆宣佈就話：你上班嘅人嚟講唔可以搽 T 落喺度。咁而絕大多數人都遵守呢一點喺度。咁於是老闆咧就喺嗰日就宣佈嘅日子喺度。佢話如果冇搽 T 落嘅人嚟講咧，就唔可以嚟翻工。但係有一位員工嚟講，佢就諗啦，話我諗住我依賴 Krishna 嘅一個仁慈啦。咁於是佢就話嚟到工廠嗰度嚟講咧，佢就塗上啲 T 落好清楚嘅白色嘅 T 落喺度。咁見到所有工人到齊之後啦，咁呢個 Muslim 嘅老闆就講到啦，呢位外士冷亞 T 落嘅一個奉獻者嚟講，佢勇氣可嘉喺度。咁以後嚟講就準佢可以繼續話 T 落去翻，而其他人嚟講咧冇話嗰啲以後唔想再話。
And Satsuru Maharaj then continues. In this way, Srila Prabhupada encouraged the devotees to not unnecessarily abandon the markings of a Vaishnava. Where situations forbid it, Srila Prabhupada said it was not absolutely necessary to wear tilak, although a devotee should at least put water tilak on his body with the name of Krishna. But if the paraphernalia is permitted, then a devotee should not unnecessarily do away with the dress or beads of a Vaishnava. This story has obvious modern day application. In 1966, Srila Prabhupada was pleased when Rupanuga and Satsvarupa persisted in wearing Vaishnava tilak to their jobs with the New York City Department of Welfare. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also desired that one day the High Court judges may wear tilak, and this would be a symbol of successful influence of Krishna consciousness in the world. Even in job situations where wearing tilak is not permissible, a devotee should try in different ways to remember Krishna while at work. The story told by Srila Prabhupada about the man who insisted on wearing tilak to his job may remain an inspiration to all devotees who go to places of employment controlled by the karmis. Somehow or other, we must remain as devotees.
咁其實蘇媽係繼續講到，就咁樣聖泡泡就鼓勵奉獻者喺冇必要嘅時候嘅情況之下嚟講，冇必要係放棄呢個愛撒嘅呢個標誌嘅。咁如果條件唔許可嘅話，聖泡泡講唔係話非要話天落嘅話咧，咁就所以奉獻者嚟講就話至少嚟講咧，佢要係用水啦，塗上天落啦，放天落咁塗上身體嗰度，就念 Vishnu 嘅名字喺度。但係如果條件許可嚟講咧，奉獻者嚟講冇必要放棄外散下嘅衣着啦，同埋或者係念珠袋、念珠咁。有呢個故事嚟講，今日係好適應喺度嘅。1966年啦，聖泡泡好高興啦，兩個奉獻者嚟講，我哋係堅持着住外散嘅衣服嚟講，去紐約嘅社會福利部上班嘅。聖巴利斯達沙亦都係咁希望咧，有一日嚟講，高等法院嘅法官咧都係能夠畫上 T 落嚟講，咁呢個 Krishna 天國嘅運動嚟講，就可以成功向全世界帶來改變改觀嘅標誌喺度。即使喺工作嘅環境之下嚟講咧，如果唔允許嚟講搽 T 落咧，奉獻者嚟講呢個係各種嘅方式嚟講咧，係幫佢諗起 Krishna。聖波巴講述呢個故事係堅持搽 T 落嘅呢個上班嘅人嘅故事嚟講，就係被所有嘅卡尼控制工作嘅奉獻者嚟講，都係一個啟發嚟。無論點樣都好啦，我哋必須係保持奉獻者嘅身份。
Okay. Comments?
或者咩嘢係可以提出嚟討論，或者咩問題？
No?
I already
Okay.
Well, comment is just what I hear is, be true. Like, if you ISKCON Krishna consciousness, don't be
afraid.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
咁就係當我哋係成為 Krishna ISKCON 嘅奉獻者嚟講，我哋唔需要迴避喺度啦。呢個係我哋嘅真實身份，我哋俾人知道。
I'm going to stop here. Yeah.
I just wanted to share that sometimes for devotees it is difficult to be dressed in Vaishnava attire when we go to different places or something, and also it does affect us because people do look at us strangely. They're like which planet have you come from? Like that, people look at us like that. But I have also found that if we continue to wear what we are supposed to wear, eventually they develop a respect for us. They respect us for having the courage of our convictions, to wear this and to be bold enough to wear even when people look at us strangely. So eventually they end up respecting us and appreciating us for dressing in the way that we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
咁我有感覺嚟講就係話可能有啲地方嚟講有奉獻者唔係咁方便啊。 着傳統嘅服裝或者係奉衣服喺度。但係當你如果係繼續咁堅持落去嚟講咧，終有人嚟講咧，都會有人會接受得你喺度，同埋覺得你勇氣可嘉喺度，或者你嘅信心好夠喺度，能夠係維持你自己咁嘅打扮衣着，咁佢會係尊敬你喺度，覺得你係對你嗰個收集好有信心。
Can I say something?
其實好靚。
Yeah, but hold on a sec. Let me.
Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, wearing tilaks, I find a very good a very good opportunity to preach. Actually, because
Okay, hold on. Let me tell the others. It's too soft. Wearing tilak is a very good opportunity to preach.
because whenever there's school visits, the students they come, and I wear tilaks and sari, and there always at least one student who are interested to ask, "What is this? What is a tilak?"
Okay, so whenever the students come for tours and so on in the temple, Jayashree, she wears sari and tilak. So she says every time there's at least one student will ask, what is this tilak?
Always.
Why you're wearing? Yeah.
And it's a good way to start the conversation and explain about the tilak and also our devotional practice.
Right. It's a good way to start discussing about our devotional practices, why we wear tilak and why we wear saris.
Because people become so curious about what we are doing.
People become very curious what we are doing.
So it's nice actually.
Okay, it is nice.
咁媽姐講到你講話，其實一個好嘅機會係傳教。咁當你查咗 T 落同埋着衫嚟，咁每一次啲學校嘅拜訪喺度啦，咁啲學生好多時都梗有一個學生會問：點解你會咁樣查 T 落啊？點樣你會係着咁嘅服飾啊？咁其實變咗一個開展對話嘅機會喺度，變咗直接咁嚟講，你就開始可以問好多嘢喺度啊！開始同我哋講述嚟講，我哋點解收集係點樣嗰度啊？我哋係點？我哋嘅哲學係點樣喺度？一個好嘅一個傳教嘅機會。
I not
Go on.
not even in class, because I experience also on the street, like very often because there's a Chinese wearing a sari,
Sorry.
and people feel very curious, and then especially we dress neatly and neatly, passively, and that is already a start of the preaching, because we very quick, quite a few times, and when they ask me, and then I can tell a lot of briefly about this one.
Nice.
咁其實呢個唔單止係上到廟宇入邊啲學生嘅一個拜訪，咁喺街都試講到，譬如我着得好齊整嘅衫嚟講咧，咁由於我係中國人喺度啦，咁樣打扮咧，啲人經過就問：會好奇喺度啦，點解你會咁樣着喺度啊？咁隨之嚟講咧，我就咁樣係藉着咁樣你可以同佢哋講多啲嘢關於呢方面嘅嘢。
When we wear tilak and they ask us what does this represent, to Indians it's easy because they understand where we come from, but to explain to Chinese, for Indians to explain to Chinese is very, how would I explain to them what the tilak is? Because then I tell them that this is the sign that, I come from this temple, and we wear this, but then apart from that, they cannot understand what Krishna and Radha is, and this is the meeting
No,
point.
you don't go into those things.
So how do you explain to them what tilak means? Because I did wear it to the office and they all.
Yeah, it's just like people wear cross, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the same way, you say, I'm putting it's not cross on the head, but that to show people that I'm a worshipper of Vishnu. Yeah, that's all.
有咁啱即係講到就係話
Oh, Krishna.
咁佢話查 T 落嚟講，譬如對於印度人嚟講就知道係咩一回事喺度啦。咁但係譬如我身為印度人，我想同啲中國人講，你講啲就好難講喺度。咁我同佢講，又驚講得深個就喺度，唔可以講到就呢個係有 Krishna 有 Radha 啦咁，佢會講話你唔需要講得咁深啲喺度嘅。咁你只要同佢講嚟講，我哋係 Vishnu 嘅跟隨者、崇拜者喺度。咁就好似啲基督教徒你帶住十字架喺度，一樣係咁嘅道理嘅。
Even devotees practicing for 20, 30 years don't know Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu in the middle there.
咁即係有啲鳳姐可能收咗20、30年，都唔知道其實係譬如 Brahma 啊、lost sheep 或者變係 Brahma lost sheep，跟住中間係 Vishnu，有可能都未必知道。
I've been asked the same question when I was wearing sari. I said this is sari is a tradition and this is part of the Christian tradition and then have this part of the on the forehead.
咁我都試過俾人問啲咁，我就會同佢講，其實呢個係整套嗰個連埋嘅 sari 嚟講啊，或者呢個咁嘅裝飾嚟講，係成套即係成 set 個嗰個收集嚟嘅。
Yeah. So we don't have to give too much details.
咁我哋係唔需要講到太詳細嘅，呢一點嗰度講得太詳細，呢嘢太詳細。
Just enough for them to understand. Oh,
咁係俾喺度佢哋明白就夠啦，唔需要講太多。
yes, please.
Sometimes people are those who are more aggressive, they challenge, why you wear this strange thing in public. And so I always say that what I'm wearing has some meaning and I can explain it to you. And I just ask them, why do you wear a tie? Why do you wear a tie to work? What is the meaning of this? Is there any reason you wear a tie? There's nothing. And even worse, in the middle of summer, when it's so hot, you wear a business suit with a long sleeve shirt, buttoned down with a tie. So yeah, what is the significance of the tie? What does it mean? Usually they cannot answer it. Oh, it's just a business attire. So yeah, so this is my shirt attire. And there's some meaning to it, so to be just try to get people to think about it. Most people mindlessly dress anyway without knowing why they dress in a way.
咁同樣嚟講咧，好似譬如我試過有啲人嚟講比較係叫做侵略性嘅一種咁嘅意圖，想挑戰你喺度啦。咁佢話：點解你哋會咁樣打扮喺度，古靈精怪喺度咁樣喺度？咁我都會同翻佢哋講到咧。咁同樣一個，咁呢個係我哋嘅傳統，我哋係咁嘅標誌，我哋咁嘅服飾喺度。咁我又會問翻佢哋喺度啦。咁點解你要打呔翻工？點解要打呔翻工？大天時嚟講，你哋都有着西裝，又打實呔流曬汗度，都係咁着喺度。當你咁問佢哋，佢都答唔到你喺度。
It's just like school uniform. It represents the
Yes.
school.
咁就好似佢就好似係啲學校嘅校服一樣，咁啊代表你係呢間學校，代表你一群人喺度。
What is the exact meaning of this?
Then we'll go into it. It's too detailed. I can tell you later. Yeah.
我都有個 experience 嗰次就係應該係朝早做完 service 啦，幫爸爸着衫，跟住好 rush 咧，我要翻 office 啊嘛，咁我換咗，唔係都係着呢啲換咗呢啲衫，唔係sari，咁但係呢個我唔記得，我冇整走佢，咁我照翻咗 office，咁跟住我老闆見到，即係agency head 啦，佢見到我，佢就望住我，跟住佢話咁得意嘅啲咩嚟㗎？哦，你今日去咗 temple 啦咁樣，即係佢冇講其他嘢，佢話你今日去完 temple，你信印度教啊嘛？我話唔係，我唔信印度教，我讀緊呢個Vaishnava嗰啲哲學啊嘛咁講，跟住佢話係呢個，佢又冇話乜嘢咯，咁我覺得 OK 咯。
So one time, just after Papa was too hurry, so everything changed. Still wear this COVID dress and wear the tila go to work, and it's possible. So he asked me, hey, what is this? And asking, then they say, oh, you are in, you are believe some Indian religion. And so I say, no, we are Vaishnava. And they say, oh, you must be come from the temple. Come from the temple. Don't say anything.
Yeah, nothing.
Sometimes I change. Most likely I will wearing three pieces, but sometimes I change the shoot because sometimes need maybe go to some customer they need wearing. Then I'm walking on Simsha. Before I'm wearing this one, many of devotees understood this is me. However, I changed the shoot. I'm walking on Simsha. I see a few devotees. They don't know me.
佢有時自己即係着呢啲咁嘅衫嚟講，啲屌條會認到佢喺度。但係當換翻啲普通衫，先有隻劍客喺度嚟講咧，着翻本身啲西裝，即係佢西褲之類嚟講咧，即使行過啲屌條認唔到佢啊。
You want to say something? Subhash? Okay. Anyone else want to add? Okay, otherwise we'll end for today.
咁我哋今日嚟講係到此為止。
And then the next class is on Tuesday.
咁星期二我哋會係繼續。
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Srila Prabhupada.
多謝咁多位，師父幫幫。